Good evening and welcome everybody to Eyes Up Mother Brown, the live stream provided by us, the members of KUMB.com, the moderating team for every West Ham United fixture that is being played right now for the foreseeable future and beyond. I'm delighted to be back tonight, and I'd like to thank the other guys here for holding the fort in my absence last week while I was away. Thank you especially to Gnome for stepping in as anchor. And no, there's no silent dubbing there. So thank you guys for doing that. That was great. And I did manage to catch the second half of the stream. I think you did a fantastic job. So well done. Unfortunately, it ended quite disappointingly with West Ham going down 2-1 at Liverpool. It was a shocker, really, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Kevin Friend awarding a penalty that really should never have been given. And then the late goal coming as a real kick in the nuts. But another decent performance from West Ham. And really, I suppose, guys, we're looking for that tonight, aren't we? A little bit of consistency, as David Moyes pointed out in midweek. It would be the West Ham way, would it not, to go and perform well against some really good sides and then, go to a game tonight like, against Fulham, who are struggling, a game that perhaps West Ham on paper are expected to win and sort of fall short. So we're going to see what Moyes and his boys are made of tonight. And joining me, as I say, on the stream tonight, I'm delighted to welcome the Pink Palermo, Rio and Gnome. And it is a fearsome foursome that will be taking you through the night. Of course, many of you won't have a stream this evening because of the decision to charge you all £14.95 of Her Majesty's pence to watch the game, whether or not you are a season ticket holder or not. And so for those of you that have paid, well done. Those of you that haven't, we shall try and take you through it as well as we possibly can for the evening. Big hellos to everybody joining us on the live stream on YouTube. If you're new here, you can comment throughout the game in the chat on the right-hand side. Of course, we will have the KUMB.com match thread open on the forum, which we dive into to see what is going on, to gauge the views of the fans throughout the evening. Rio is our man for that, and he will be checking in to see what you are thinking throughout the evening. Before we get into any of that anyway, I'm going to go straight over to Gnome, who has got the teams ready in front of him, and he's going to tell us the lineups. Gnome, over to you, buddy.
Good evening, all. Yeah, for us, it's pretty much as you were. There have been some thoughts that Benrahma might make a start, but excuse me. No, we're unchanged. So we start as Fabianski, Kufal, Balbuena, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Masuaku, Bowen, Souček, Rice, Fornals, and Haller. And on the bench, we have Yarmolenko, Benrahma, Lanzini, Snodgrass, Diop, Fredericks, and Randolph. Mark Noble missing out yet again. I think he's still got a problem with his ribs. Excuse me. As for Fulham, they line up. Lots of players whose names begin with the letter A today. So we have Areola, Aina, Anderson, Adarbio, sorry, Adarbio, something like that. Number 16, Robinson, Zambo Anguissa, Reed, De Cordova, Reed, Kearney, Lukman, and Mitrovic. That's how they line up. And there you go. That's how we look today.
Excellent. Thank you, Gnome, for taking us through the teams. No real surprises there. I guess, Pinky, what are your thoughts looking at the West Ham side for this one tonight?
I think the sign of a good team is one that is selected regularly. Consistency in terms of personnel, in terms of shape. I think it helps the players understand what their roles are. I think it gives the team a bit of an identity. And really, you should keep the shirt as long as you're performing well in it. I think, in fairness, the opening 8 fixtures that we've had, the bulk of tonight's starting 11 have featured, and I think we've done pretty well. So I'm happy with what we're looking at. I know people will say, well, it's not a system that's going to delight Sebastian Heller all that much, but bit of a clue to Seb. You can run around, okay? Just if you're watching in the changing room now before heading out, just run around, which I know is a bit Harry Redknapp-esque in terms of advice, but if you run around, you might get involved a bit. That's all I'm saying. So I think Moyes has picked the right lineup. I think the fact that he's left Benrahma out again gives us a real clue now as to where the manager saw his priorities of the transfer window.
Yeah.
And I suspect he didn't get the player he wanted. He got the player that the chairman and the chairman's preferred agent wanted to do a deal for. And, who knows, that could turn out to be a loan fee that's just a bit of a waste of money. And it might be that he doesn't feature under David Moyes at all, bearing in mind Mr. Moyes' contract runs out in 7 months' time.
Yeah, good stuff. Pinky, do you think that, I just wonder whether it might have been an idea of throwing Benrahma in tonight, bearing in mind he was in the beaten Brentford team in that playoff final just a few months ago, perhaps a score to settle maybe for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something us romantics tend to think of. I think professional football managers these days are a bit more hard-nosed, and it's, the simple question, well, who would you leave out? Who would you leave out? And Fornals, I think, is getting rave reviews from a number of places. Bowen on the other side, doing very well. He's not going to play in Souček or Rice's position, so the only place really for him would be, instead of Seb Haller, but that's not really his position either. So for my money, I think the chairman called it right on TalkSport. We had too many wingers. He sold one. I'm just perplexed as to why he went and bought another one.
Mm-hmm. We shall see, of course, whether Benrahma gets the opportunity to try and make amends for that playoff final defeat. Of course, if they'd have won that game, he'd be playing in the Premier League as a Brentford player, almost certainly, instead of being at West Ham. So those being the ways the cookies crumble, as they say. Rio, good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm okay, thank you, gents. Thank you very much.
Good. Well, actually, you're not that okay, mate. Oh, we know you've been struggling a little bit today, and we're very lucky that you've joined us on the stream. So thanks for getting out of your sick bed in a way and coming on.
Yeah, I'm surviving on 2 hours sleep, which is never a good thing. So let's hope that the boys step up to the plate tonight and deliver a few goals and keep me awake. I almost dropped off during the Chelsea game because it was just too depressing watching them score.
Chelsea, of course, won 4-1 this afternoon. Did they not beat Sheffield United? Sending the Blades, in fact, to the bottom of the table with that.
Nobody likes to see that.
We're not a bitter lot here, we don't hold grudges or anything like that. But Who's the Simpsons character? Nelson, isn't it? Anyway, let's not be particularly too childish. But Rio, West Ham, unchanged team, good side. Happy with what you've seen there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as Pinky said, consistency of selection. You can tell the team spirit and the way we've performed over the last few weeks, just how well we're operating as a unit.
Yeah.
The only dynamic is how they're coming in. I wasn't overly disappointed with his performance last week. I thought he did reasonably well. It obviously wasn't as robust and as aggressive as Antonio, but he still created a little bit of space. A couple of nice touches. And it's his first game properly against that calibre of opposition for a long while.
Yeah.
So, and despite the fact Liverpool had injuries, it's always a tough place to go, Anfield, with or without crowds. So, yeah, I'm hopeful. Tonight we've got to alter the dynamics, the way we attack. Obviously, we've got to be much more on the front foot. But according to my sources, Fulham have had quite a lot of possession in their games earlier in the season.
Yep. Which
might play into our hands a little bit because, we sat with five at the back kind of thing and hit on a counter. If Fulham allow us that opportunity, we could take advantage and rip at the shreds, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, actually, because we've heard a lot of points, a lot of the 8 points that we've taken so far this season, doing precisely that, haven't we? Sitting back, soaking up the pressure, and countering and hitting teams on the break. So it'd be interesting to see, I think, how Scotty Parker lines up tonight, and what formation and tactical approach he takes to the game. But did you sort of see him perhaps emulating that and sitting back and maybe affording West Ham a little bit more possession than we're used to?
If he's as clued up as what I think he is, he will do exactly that. But until Monday, their results have been pretty poor. So you just don't know, do you? You might stick with the tried and tested. You might have thought, think a bit more tactically. Until they actually go out to the pitch, we ain't going to really find out. But if I was him, I'd make us play and make us take the game to them rather than the other way around.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Of course, Fulham's only points thus far in the Premier League this season coming against the teams in and around them. Sheffield United holding Fulham to a draw on the 18th of October. And then, of course, they earned their first win of the season, beating West Bromwich, Slaven Bilic's West Bromwich Albion 2-0 last week. But, of course, if you're going to stay up, Gnome, that's what you have to do, beat those in and around you. We know Fulham are missing a few players. And I also know you've been looking at the Fulham team a little bit closer than perhaps one or two of us this week in another guise possibly. But what are your thoughts on the Fulham side there?
That would have been more like Daisy, the beautiful personal assistant.
Of course. Pretty where it's due.
Well, yeah, I mean, your first comment is, of course, quite right. It's they've been picking up points so far. The points have come from, as you say, Sheffield United and West Brom.
Yeah,
West Brom have got all sorts of problems there. Slav must have thought, I think I've been here before, with players being sold from under his nose, and it's not a happy place to be at the moment. West Brom. So it's all very well picking up points and being happy that he picked up points, but if you take a step back and a pragmatic look, we've been picking up points. We've beaten Wolves and Leicester, and taken creditable points from Manchester City and that small team in North London, and really, but for something that was some astonishing refereeing last week, we'd have got something from Anfield. So who would you rather be, us or them? Us at the moment, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what about the West Ham team? Are you happy with what you're seeing there tonight? Reasonably strong bench.
Yeah, it's a strong bench. It's what we've got, and at the risk of saying what we said 100 times before this season, we've got to go with Haller up front because that's the striker. Yeah. It's either that or a complete and utter tactical change with the this newfangled false number 9 thing that people keep telling me about. You go with what you've got. So I'm happy because it's a settled side, and in the sort of key areas, there's been good performances, and Cresswell and Masuaku on that sort of left axis. This system is they're enjoying this system.
And also talking about that, I mean, Cresswell, 2 man of the match performances in the last 5 or 6 games, bearing in mind how much stick he was taking at the start of the season and at the end of last season. He's really come to the fore and doing particularly well, is he not?
Yeah, indeed. And it's good to see players that that A, there's a system that works, and B, we've got players that it works for. So the one elephant in the room, or square peg in the round hole, is that Haller, as Pinky suggested, we do need to see a little bit more from him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all very well being a target man sort of striker, but maybe we're not expecting him to do the running it in the channels that Antonio does. But there are a number of times last week where and let's face it, Liverpool had some rookie and Gomez as their back four, he just wouldn't go and close them down or put them under pressure or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was dispiriting to watch. Sometimes you think, look, it's 2 foot away from you. It's 2 foot away from you. Go and chase it. You might not get the ball, but make it difficult.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? I mean, I kind of made the comparison a few weeks ago with Freddie Canute. I kind of, see a lot of similarities between them. Canute, of course, never had to play that sole striker's role, as far as I'm aware. Don't think,
yeah,
but very, very similar in style.
yeah. I mean, Kinnitt, I think, seems to be a little bit more mobile than Haller has been of late.
Yeah.
So, but both sort of, there's a kind of languidity about them. If languidity is a word, somebody presumably tell me that it isn't.
I like it. It will do.
There is a languid nature. There is languidness. And,
he's languishing in languidity.
Yeah. So, add that to bounce back ability as words that probably don't exist.
Indeed. But anyway, so yeah, we're all reasonably happy then, I think, with the West Ham team. But Pinky, the man that we've probably got to fear most from the Fulham team is that the striker Alexander Mitrovic, of course, linked with West Ham on several occasions in the past. Never quite made it, but probably the sort of player that might have done well here. I mean, hasn't really sort of stood out a lot yet this season, but he's a strong lad, isn't he? And we saw when he was at Newcastle as well. He's got the capability to score goals and score goals against anybody.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those strikers who certainly knows where the net is.
Yeah.
And so if he gets himself in a position where he can pull the trigger or get on the end of something, he's going to make the keeper work.
Yeah.
On the plus side, from our perspective, I think he's always destined to be in that group of players who are slightly too good for the Championship, but not quite good enough for the Premier League. And if that's damning a player with faint praise, or so be it. But that just shows how hard it is, and why goals are the most precious commodity in the game. Because to get one, you've got to be really top of your form. And in fairness to Mitrovic, we've just been speaking about Seb Haller, who we've weighed out 40 odd million quid on, and we're all saying, well, is he really quite the guy? If I was doing a head-to-head against the two of them, if we could get a bit of Mitrovic's aggression into Seb Haller, then we might actually have a player.
For sure.
And if Mitrovic is as good in the air as Seb Haller is, then Fulham might have a player. So between the pair of them, there's one
good striker.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it doesn't work that way. What I'm hoping to see tonight is that Mitrovic struggles against a very well organised defence.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's quite clever enough to lose all the people that'll be in and around him tonight. So I'm going for a good West Ham United win tonight. I'm going 4-0. I think we'll be absolutely on fire this evening. And, it just got this feeling about it tonight that we might see this team positively ignite tonight. And I'm really optimistic. So that's put the mockers on it. So anyone saying, I think, was it Wanstead Hammer was asking for predictions on the feed. So there you go. 4-0 from me.
Well, to be fair, Pinky, you called the Wolves result, and I think you called the Leicester result pretty much spot on, if I remember rightly. So, that's pretty good. It's good to hear positivity anyway from amongst the ranks. Is it going to be felt for the rest of the team? Rio, what are you going for tonight? Did you see a comfortable West Ham win as much as Pinky does?
Yeah, I'm going for either a 2 or 3-0 win. I'm confident we'll score. I'm confident we'll score at least twice. I'm confident that Haller will actually get on the score sheet tonight as well. And yeah, we're overdue a bit of a clean sheet. I know we've played a different calibre of opposition in the last 3 games, but bring it back on. We should be able to deal with these. Mitrovic is a dangerous player. He hasn't got the supporting cast that he would have here, so that's why he's a little bit ineffective for Fulham at the top flight for me. He's a very aggressive, hard-working, kind of old-fashioned target man. But he needs service, and he's not getting a lot of that this season from his teammates at Craven Cottage. Okay,
good stuff. 2 wins out of 2. No, you're going to make it 3 out of 3 in predictions?
Yeah, I think so. I'd love a clean sheet, but I've got one of these feelings they'll get a late one just to sort of take the gloss of it slightly. I'll go 3-1. But you know, if we can have 3-0, then I'd be happy with that, obviously. Yeah. But it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. But let's temper it just slightly, just in case we're getting too above ourselves. You know.
Well, why not? It's good to be positive. You know, we've played well lately, haven't we? It's fully deserved, I think, really, to see us sort of going into. I mean, I agree with all you three guys for what it's worth. I see us winning. I'm not sure we'll get 3 or 4. I think I might take a couple tonight, but you know, any win's a win at this level, isn't it? So, 4 out of 4. Rio, should we dive into the KUMB Forum match thread? Are you ready to go, or do you want me to come back to you in just a moment?
No, I mean, I've got a basic overview.
Excellent. Let's go. Fire away.
We're up to 12 pages already, which is a good sign. And then after a little run of form over the last few weeks, I know we kind of tempered by the defeat last week, but there's a whole lot of optimism. The way we've been setting up and playing, it's run through people, and
awesome.
It's pretty unanimous that we're going to get a result tonight. A couple of people obviously drawing the old West Ham line. We're overconfident. We've got to try and temper the expectations a little bit. The old West Ham would have lost 2 or 3-0 and screwed this one up. But this doesn't look like the old West Ham. We're playing with purpose and with an actual kind of plan, which we've not seen for many a year. So the only thing I can really add is a lot of optimism. And Sendo says the lineup isn't important. It's the tactics of what they do that is. You call it 5-4-1, but it doesn't mean it's 10 men behind the ball all game. It might be 9 defenders plus the goalie when they have the ball. But what about when they're pressing? When Bowen pushes up, Souček runs into the box. Fornell gets close to header. Kufa and Masuaku push up and provide width. Cresswell overlaps. What does it mean then? It's more like a 2-4-4. What works with our system is it has a shape when defending. It suits our players mostly, but we're also fast and aggressive in attack. We'll still be committing men into the box when we go forwards, so it's hardly defensive. And I can't disagree with any single aspect of that comment. No, it may appear to be a 5-4-1 on paper, but we've seen over the last few weeks when we do go forward, particularly against Leicester and Wolves, and we hit with fluidity, we're a dangerous attacking side.
Yes, we certainly have been. I mean, Rio, what do you put it down to? Why is this system suiting the current squad so well, in your opinion?
It's an excellent piece of coaching for me.
Okay.
We know that Moyes wanting to bring in some more players. He was denied that opportunity. But with the tools at his disposal, pushing Arthur into that side gives us a lot more width and pace on the left-hand side, helps Cresswell out. Because Aaron, bless him, he's not the quickest anymore. He's lost that, since the injury a couple of years back, he's lost that little bit of pace. He's got a lot more protection that side. Same on the other side. Bowen and Kufa are working in tandem as well. The extra man in defence, and also as we push forward, it works out to be an extra man in midfield. It gives license for Fornals and Bowen to get forward and exploit spaces and get their passing working. We've also got the 2 defensive bedrocks in Rice and Souček, who, let's be honest, have rejuvenated our side since February, March. We've looked a much more solid unit with them. They offer the protection and pace and power that, unfortunately, Mark Noble doesn't provide anymore because the legs just aren't there for him. And we're actually looking like a side very much in the mould of a lot of the top sides in the division. We've got 2 powerhouses in midfield which drive us on, offer not only attacking impetus but also defensive protection. And with the 2 kind of wing backs we have in Kufa and Masuaku, it affords us license to run forward and attack at will. So I just think with the tools at his disposal, he's managed to conjure up a very effective counter-attacking offensive side.
Brilliant. That's a fantastic summary, actually, Rio. Thank you for that. The question I would like to ask you, Gnome, I'm going to jump in and have a look at the YouTube comments in just a moment. Rio's given us a pretty good explanation of the system we're playing and why and how it's effective. But the question I'd like to ask you is it West Ham? A puzzled look on your face.
Well,
I
just
think
trying
the
to think
question.
I'm
So
just
let me
trying to think
elucidate. The question I'm
who you
asking
thought-
you.
Who else did you think it was? Yeah.
Well, look, the question. What I'm asking you is, we've always been told, and for years and years on the KUMB forum, we've seen fans come on and say, "I don't care if we lose, as long as we play fluid, fast, attacking football." This isn't really that sort of football, is it? So,
I
what are your views on
disagree
that?
to a certain degree.
Okay.
There's I guess what we're trying to say is that there's always been this idea that we just go for it gung ho and attack. I think that we're actually getting quite good on the counter, and when
Okay.
you see some of the moves that we make when we actually get the passing together, yeah, I think that's good to watch. It's
Yeah.
not a case of okay, we didn't have a lot of possession last week, for example, or against Manchester City, but we always look very dangerous. And when we do go on the counter, I think there's some cracking stuff to watch.
Okay. So you're quite happy. You're quite happy with West Ham having 35% of possession in the game, as long as they're making that 35% possession count.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. If you've got 35% of a game, but in that 35%, you're playing some. The movement, the attacking is fluid. I mean, just as the warm up to the game, which what time we got, kicks off in about 5 minutes have we got?
Yeah, 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah,
3 minutes according to this. And they've been showing some of the goals, and they've been showing Bowen. Putting balls away. The first one they showed was the Wolves game. Okay, quick free kick.
Yeah,
but that was a quick free kick because we were on the move. The goal against Leicester is sort of end to end stuff, and there's some quality football in that. Now,
yeah.
Bear in mind that we played the last few games. Yeah, we're always going to be possession's always going to be at a premium, particularly against Manchester City. And it's whereas in the past we might have sort of had 8 at the back and try to hold on and hope for us. We're not. We're sort of defending well. We're organised, and we're actually looking to get that ball, get it forward. And as I say, I think there's been good stuff. So more than one way to skin a cat. If it were a case of play 5 across the back, another 4 in midfield, and leave or Haller or anybody up on their own, and then just hoof it towards them in the hope that he can do something, then I'd be a little bit more disappointed. But I think that there's good football being played there.
Good stuff. Okay, good. We're just about to kick off West Ham United versus Fulham tonight. I'm going to go to Pinky quickly before we come. Just your views on that, Pinky. I mean, I know your views on this, but just tell us what you think about that. Really, I mean, it's what you do with the ball, isn't it? Rather than what the possession stats say at the end of the game.
Well, I think there's 2 things. I think attacking wise, it's what you do with the ball. Let's never ever forget it's the successful teams are the teams that work hard off the ball.
Yeah,
it's what you do off the ball that determine, in my view, your final league position. And for me, the most remarkable feature about what we've seen this year has been the resolute defensive work rate from the bulk of the team that are starting tonight.
Yeah,
they're very well organised. They know their jobs, and we've been pretty difficult to score against on a number of occasions. So for me, we're defending with a purpose, and we're attacking with a purpose when we do get the ball. So, Cloughy always used to say it only takes a second to score a goal. So if you've got the ball 35% of the time, that's an awful lot of time in which you could be scoring goals. And for me, I'm more than happy with what I'm watching at the minute. I think it's quite entertaining to watch. I think we're getting plenty of players forward. Sorry, there's a minute's silence at the minute. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So for me, it is defend with purpose, attack with purpose. That's what
Yeah.
matters. And looks like Fulham are going to kick off. And we are just taking the knee at the minute.
Yep. So we are just about to get underway. I would say usually at this point we say it's an impeccably observed minute silence, but of course it was tonight because there was nobody in the stadium. But one of the things at West Ham is it always has been impeccably observed, the minute silence, and a very eerie spectacle, in fact, there tonight to see it performed with no one inside the ground in the stands. But good stuff once again. Pinky, I think you may be considerably ahead of me because I've just seen the players take the knee here. So we'll do a time check in just a minute. Gnome, how about yourself?
I'm on 36.7.8 as we speak.
Okay, I've just kicked off.
Yeah, I'm match 9.
Okay, Rio?
They've just taken a knee. A long way behind.
Me and you, Pinky.
So just pointing out to Rio that Biden won. Yeah.
Still counting here. They're still counting.
He's still counting Trump in the last one.
Exclusively revealed that Bonds is no longer captain.
We are underway. West Ham United versus Fulham in West Ham's latest Premier League encounter. The Hammers looking to bounce back with a victory after that narrow defeat at Anfield last week. We're all going for a win tonight. What about you guys who are joining us live on YouTube? Well, let's have a quick look through to see what you're saying. Muja says West Ham 4, Fulham 1, kind of echoing almost what Pinky was saying. West Ham seeking to score 3 or 4 goals there. Wanted Hammer himself says 3-1 to us. And Polaroid says, evening, gents, 4-0 to run the show, 3-0 to West Ham. Hellos this evening to the likes of Rob Young, to George Jackson. George, I haven't paid for the game. Well, I have paid for the game, but not via the method selected, and I'll say no more on that one. Kavinji, good to see you. Claret and Blue Army TV, good to see you as well. Lewis John. Lewis going for a 2-0 defeat. Well. The odd one out so far, but you never know. Kathy Wright, hiya, Kathy. Good to see you. Going for a 3-1 win. So, Gnome, we are about 2 minutes in.
2 minutes, 2.25 minutes in.
Okay,
long ball down the left, and Haller ran into the channel, and perhaps mindful of the fact that he didn't exactly put himself about a bit. A slight nudge into the defender, and the defender went down like a sack of spuds. Free kick to Fulham on their penalty area, our left, their right. I mean, 2 minutes 40 seconds in, nothing really much happening so far. We've enjoyed a little bit of possession, but it's been sort of fairly even. A lot of head tennis going on at the moment.
Okay.
Really, both teams just settling into it. Good tackle there though by Spowen. Fornals is going down the right hand side. in the area, squares the ball, and Haller. Haller's had a shot. Sorry, Masuaku had a shot save. Not sure who had the follow-up, but again was well saved by Areola, who, if we can keep this going, he's in for a busy night. Some great work there from Bowen on our right-hand side. Fed Fornals and burst himself into the box, squared the ball across, slight deflection. Masuaku, not sure if that was the keeper or defender actually, but the follow-up shot from Cresswell did very well to take it down. Got behind it. It was going in. We've got a corner anyway out of this. I'll stay with the corner.
I think it was probably the keeper actually, Gnome, just coming up behind you. But Pinky, good stuff. Good start from West Ham. Decent, showing our intentions from the off.
Yeah, absolutely. And the players confirming what we were talking about 3 or 4 minutes ago. There were half a dozen West Ham United players in or around the Fulham box.
Yeah.
And well positioned, to get 2 decent shots off in short succession. We should really have scored, if I'm being a bit more critical. The chance was good enough, and let's just hope that we don't rue that come later in the game.
Okay.
As a statement of intent, though, that'll do for me. It's there seems to be an attitude out there. Nobody's taking this for granted.
Yeah. Which, of course, is something that David Moyes was keen to point out in his press conference on Friday. Rio, what are you noticing from the shape of both sides so far? I mean, it looks like West Ham are going to be enjoying a little bit more possession perhaps than we'd normally expect or have expected in recent weeks.
Yeah, no, the thing I noticed from the off is that Cresswell looked to be playing more as a conventional left back initially.
Yeah.
But just looking at the way
Masuaku, what a good run now. Masuaku, sorry, Rio, just to interrupt as I'm ahead of everyone, apart from Pinky. Good run from Masuaku down the left. Cross was blocked, and we've earned another corner out of this. Okay,
well, let's just stick with Gnome briefly for the corner, and then Rio will come back to you to continue that point.
Sorry, Rio.
No worries, mate.
We're just waiting for him to take him.
Okay.
Cresswell on the ball. Gives some sort of signal. Which, anyway, ball played in, and it's headed clear by Mitrovic. Bowen's had a volley from 5 yards, tipped over by Areola. Good shot, good save.
Good stuff. Pinky, best effort so far for the Hammers?
Oh, yeah. I mean, great technique from Jared Bowen. Hits it on the volley, comes off a Fulham player's head, and then the kick tipped it over the bar for our third corner. So, we're queuing up here. I mean, a goal is coming for certain.
Yeah. Decent start by West Ham. How's that corner going, Gnome?
Cresswell again, signalling across, and ball played into the penalty area. Oh, no! Haller's hit the bar. And, very basic stuff. Corner swung outside. Haller runs in from the penalty area, from the penalty spot into the 6-yard box. Nobody's tracked the run, got the header, and it's just flicked the top of the bar and gone over. Very good start from West Ham. Pressure's going to tell eventually, hopefully.
Okay, good stuff. I'm furiously trying to scribble down some notes here and watch the TV at the same time. There's so much happening. 3 great efforts for West Ham. Rio, going back to your point you were making anyway about the way the teams are set up.
Yeah, it looks like we settled into almost like a 3-4-3. Masuaku's very left-sided. Cresswell started kind of almost as a left-back, but I noticed in the second passage of play, it does look like a 3-4-3. As we went forward, when Fornals burst into the box, we had the 3 attacking the fulcrums of Fornals, Bowen, Haller, all lining up ready to attack the ball as it went in. So
free kick to Fulham here.
Okay.
Rice was a little bit late, just a second late. I'm not sure he brought down, but it's free kick, dangerous position. I'd say about 25, 30 yards out. Oh, 24
just
yards
outside
out.
the D, isn't it? Yeah.
Mitrovic is on the ball, just outside the D. Free kick taken, Mitrovic on it, and straight into the wall. It was a free kick, no complaints there.
Was he a little bit lucky to escape a yellow card perhaps there, Gnome?
No.
No, nothing in
No,
that?
just a second late. You know, there was no deliberate attempt to bring the player down.
Sure.
You know, it's not yellow. That free kick, yes, yellow now. Fulham enjoying a bit of attacking play now. Cross comes in from the left and it's cleared out, but we need to let's get our foot on this for a second. Cresswell and Masuaku robbed Fulham in the penalty area. Masuaku plays the ball out now that's Fornals. And that's an overhit pass with Bowen looking interested up front. But that's Fulham's best little spell. No shots or anything particular apart from the free kick. But we stayed calm and got our foot in. And the work there between Cresswell and Masuaku, I think it was Robinson they robbed between them, was quite cool.
Yeah, of course, Robinson, one of the players that West Ham were looking at in the summer, Pinky. So I suppose it'll be interesting to see how he gets on tonight. A player that came from Wigan, we were supposedly in for him for about £1.5 million, but of course he ended up at Fulham. So 21 years old, got a good career ahead of him by the looks of it.
So Kufel got a cross in, but Haller couldn't quite get anything on the header. Fulham now coming away on the break down their left-hand side. That's Lukeman. Craney now sort of trying to work some space, but it's been forced back. Well, that's just a waste, really. That's Zambo Anguissa. Anguissa just got the ball 35 yards out, and with nothing really much to do ahead of him, just put it 2 yards over. So, sorry about that. I'll carry on.
Okay.
Carry on, guys.
I've totally forgot where I was now. Pinky, I was with you. We were talking about Anthony Robinson, weren't we? The player that West Ham were looking at.
We were, and I'm not convinced. You know, I think that would have been a gamble too far for us, if I'm being honest with you. So
yeah,
I would file that one under if not a bullet dodged, certainly a risk we didn't really need to take. Operating as we tend to with relatively limited funds for defenders. But tonight, I mean, other than two brief forays into a half by Fulham, this has been all West Ham United. I mean, we are totally dominating this game, no question about it. And I don't think that's down to a tactical ploy by Scott Parker. I just think we're better than Fulham at this point in time. Ogbonna now just carrying the ball forward, feeds it to Cresswell, who's looking for movement ahead of him. Feeds Arthur. Arthur does a nice little trick to beat a man. Back to Cresswell. Ball returned to Rice. And this was maybe what people feared, that when a team that's actually did to us what we're doing to others and sit back a little bit, where's the little bit of magic going to be to unlock them? But I think we'll have more than enough to do that, if I'm being honest. Kufel on the ball now. They've worked it down, got in behind them, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. So didn't have quite the legs to get past his fullback there.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Pinky. Just having a quick look at the stats early on. West Ham, 58% possession to Fulham's 42. West Ham, 5 shots already inside the opening 12 minutes. Fulham yet to register an effort at goal. West Ham, 3 shots on target, 3 corners to West Ham, and West Ham have committed 2 fouls. No corners, no fouls for Fulham. So very much one-way traffic at the moment. But of course, as we say every week on this show, the only stat that really counts is the one in the goal scored column. And at the moment, it reads West Ham United 0, Fulham 0. But a long way to go yet. And as Pinky says, very, very promising signs so far from the Hammers. Rio, what's the view on the match thread on the KUMB Forum after the opening 12 or 13 minutes? Are people still feeling as positive as they were at the start of the game?
Very much so. There's a lot of praise for the way we've started off. As we said, 5 shots in the first 10 minutes. And that's normally our quota for a game at points last season. Yeah, it's just the only thing that someone's put is that it's a great start. Slightly concerned by the idea of Cresswell taking corners with Balboin and Ogbonna both in the box. That's all 3 centre halves, none of which are blessed with amazing pace, a million miles away from a defensive position. But other than that, positivity all the way, and let's hope it continues. We've had a really good start here. Anyone who was kind of fearful that we was going to start on a back foot and not be able to break them down, well, we dispelled that immediately. Now it's a definite 3-4-3. Arthur's getting plenty of action on the left-hand side. It's only a matter of time before a goal comes for me.
Okay, well, let's hope you're right, of course, because I suppose the longer it goes on, the more and more West Ham would get frustrated if it carried on like this. But as we said, an awful long way to go yet. Paul Origi says Areola is going to have shell shock by half time at this rate. The amount of shots peppering his goal. Good evening to Elsie, last caress. Good to see you on the stream again, buddy. He says we'll get an early goal, at which point we'll need to trump the life out of it. Demand that they stop the goal count there and then before Fulham mail in an equaliser. So we shall see. A little reference there to something that's been going on somewhere else in the world, in case you haven't heard of it. But
what's that then?
Locked in a box if you haven't. Gnome, I'm on 14.
Southampton, their official Twitter feed last night sent out a picture of the league table and just with the words "stop the count," which I thought was quite good for Southampton. But no, I mean, I don't know if anyone listening in has got commentary at their end, but all the crowd noise. But it must surely be playing the Olays already, because that's how dominant we've been.
Yeah, we could, I suppose, have a virtual conga going around the ground, couldn't we? But good stuff.
Fulham on the attack at the moment, and ball played in. Mitrovic was trying to get on the end of it. I think he might have got touched to it in the end, but he's carrying a bit of timber, is Mitrovic. Just looking at the close-up there. Either that, he's got about 4 undershirts on.
He's also got a very interesting tattoo on the side of his neck. I've been trying to work out what that is now. I don't know if you've clocked that one yet.
I didn't notice that. A little bit concerning that he did get the wrong side of Cresswell there, and if he could have got a little bit more on that might have been dangerous. So that's probably Fulham's best sort of half chance, I suppose, really, you'd call it.
Not a million miles away, was he, from that one?
Yeah. We've got the ball back now anyway, and again, it's we do need to be a little bit patient here. But that's a nice ball played to Bowen on the right. Bowen's looking for options now, and he's got Fornals, and Kufel's outside him, but he's not used. And the ball was played to Bowen, but Bowen had gone forward for the ball that he was expecting, and it went behind him. So we've turned possession over at Fulham. So that's to say, Fulham now just trying to work it away from the back. But again, we've got a lot of things tied up, and it's a loose ball from Fulham, but we don't keep hold of it. So back in the Fulham, deep in Fulham territory. But that's what we need to do, is we need to stifle them so they end up playing that loose ball, that loose longer ball that we pick off and then rebuild. That time it nearly happened, it didn't quite work, but
it's quite interestingly tactically there, I think, Gnome, at the moment, because it almost looks like neither side really wants to take the game by the scruff of the neck. West Ham have, as we said ahead of the game, West Ham have been playing in a certain fashion in the recent weeks, and this is a different game entirely for us, isn't it? It's we're going to have to be a little bit more sort of proactive than perhaps we have been in recent weeks. In order to sort of, make the most of it. But you can't say we haven't so far, can you? With 5 shots on the ball already.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been looking at the way that we've been pressing them so far tonight, and it's very clear that we're not attacking the actual person on the ball to try and win the ball back. What we're trying to do is intercept the pass that he's playing to a teammate. So we're trying to shut down the angles and nick an interception. So 3 or 4 times we've seen Rice come very close to doing that. So there's different variations on how you press teams, but it's clear to me tonight that's what we're trying to do.
Just picked up a corner. The long ball played, which I don't think Balbuena got a shot. He could well have left that, actually, I think. But
going nowhere, was it?
Yeah. So Fulham a corner on their left, our right. And we've got Lookman is on the ball to take it. Two Fulham players come short, matched by a couple of West Ham players getting as close as they're allowed to do. Taken short, back to Lookman. Lookman's pulls it back to the edge of the box, and it's out again to that's Creaney. Dangerous looking ball played in, and we've dealt with it sort of eventually, and wasn't tidy, but we did clear it in the end.
I've got to say, Gnome, that every time I see Arthur go for a challenge in the area, my heart's in my mouth. Pinky's nodding his head as well. Pinky, you too.
Absolutely. You know,
But
that's not where you want to see him playing. You want to see him 3 yards outside the area, or in the opposition's area. You know, and he is not a defender of any kind. He really isn't.
Well, Rice has just been caught on the ball there. As Fulham are bringing it forward, Rice was bringing it out and just dawdled on it a little bit, and Fulham worked it into the left-hand side from our perspective of our box. But it's again, we're tight, we're compact, and it's going back. Fulham looking for the ball again. We've got that's Robinson on the left. Plays it off Kufal for another Fulham corner.
I was just going to touch on that actually, Gnome. That last corner, you mentioned it there. Definitely tactically aware of the way Fulham are playing, because they had two men that dropped short for the corner, and we pushed two players right into that zone, didn't we? As far as you can go, anyway, legally.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like we Fulham again are playing. Again, they're doing the same thing. They've got a player
so it's Bowen and Kufal who are pushing in there.
It's played straight back to the edge of the box. In fact, outside the box. Fulham keeping possession, but Kearney played a ball across, which nobody got on the end of. But a variation on the corner kick. It was played with the two guys played sort of like playing for the short one. They were ignored. They were kind of like a decoy. It was played right the way back to a good 10, 15 yards outside the box. So they're varying it. But we're back on the attack now. We've got Souček, who's played the ball out left to Cresswell. Inside Fornals, back to Cresswell. Cresswell, long curling ball in, but that's cleared by Fulham. And they've managed to keep hold of possession there. And they're coming forward again. Balbuena's caught a little bit upfield, but he's managed to get back. We've intercepted and retained the ball. Bowen's on the ball now. And he's looked at it's a fair old distance out. Now, did they get a touch off someone? I'm
not sure it did.
Good 30 yards out anyway. We'll just have a look now.
I think it's a goal kick, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just that interesting. When you looked at the player, it looked like they were walking up as if there was a corner. But obviously, you don't know what direction they're walking in. From that angle.
No, that's true. That's true. We just saw Rio. We just saw Declan Rice concede possession. A couple of things there to note. Declan Rice conceding possession. Obviously, didn't get a shout, and also Fabian Balbuena making a challenge, sort of 20 yards inside the Fulham half there before sort of furiously pegging it back after not winning it. But kind of interesting tidbits there, perhaps.
Yeah. And funny you should mention the word tidbits, because it's gone a bit carry on West Ham on the forum at the moment. Because if you haven't already noticed,
you're going to talk about the goalkeeper for a minute there. There's a joke waiting for later.
Areola. So we've had a few comments. If you want me to mention it, I will. But
please do.
Okay. Simon Hammer's put, great save from Areola. Knowing our luck, he'll have the best night of his career.
Oh.
Wolf 359's followed up. It's okay. He started perky, but will sag in the second half.
Oh dear, we're on form tonight.
And Samber's put, I want some massive boobs from him tonight. So, it's all going to be at 1970s on the forum tonight. So,
Mrs. Oh, saucy. Anyway, Pinky, thank you, Rio. I think we've just seen Arthur Masuaku blast one over the bar. So I'm reading from those chest jokes there that Rio was furnishing us with. Pinky, was it Masuaku?
Some good positions on the left, and I'd like to see him, getting down that line, because I think the Fulham right-hand side is there for the taking if we can get Masuaku on the ball. That time he was well shepherded, and he was trying to get the cross in. It was high, wide, and horrible. But yeah, I mean, I just want to see a little bit more of that from him, though. Fulham are getting a little bit more into the game a little bit than they were earlier on. That earlier sort of storm. Robinson's pulled the ball back, another long crossing. Mitrovic has got a free header there, and he's headed it wide. So they're just beginning to get a little bit of a foothold in the game, and I'd like to think we just had our 5-minute breather, and we start sort of stamping our authority on it. Mitrovic really have done a bit better with that.
He rose highest, didn't he? Climbed above. Was it Cresswell? Gnome he got above? Yes, it was Cresswell.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Answering my own question there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it seems to be actually Pinky Kearney, another player we were linked with a while back, seems to be quite involved a lot, swinging a few of those crosses in from the left-hand side so far. It's quite a clear policy, looking for the head of Mitrovic, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, you'd expect that. I mean, worrying for me is Fulham I've now pegged this back to kind of like an even Stevens sort of game, whereby they're seeing same amount of the ball we are, and they're doing as much with it. So our middle of the park, I'm not sure is working quite well for us at this point in time. Can't quite put my finger on it. It might be that maybe Seb needs to drop a little bit deeper, just to fill some space. And I think what we might be seeing here is the impact of him not working quite as hard as Antonio to do that kind of sort of dog work. And I think it's Fulham are just finding it a bit too easy to work the ball through us at the minute.
What are you thinking about Haller so far, Pinky, on his performance? I mean, we haven't really seen an awful lot of him so far, have we?
Well, you're answering your own question.
Well, apart from the one that hit the bar, of course. Yeah.
But that's fine. Hitting the bar, well, good, well done. You get a gold star on the margin. But you need more. You've got to contribute more. Lionel Messi contributes a hell of a lot more than just scoring goals to Barcelona. Cristiano Ronaldo contributes a hell of a lot more than just scoring goals. Just scoring goals is not enough. It's just not enough. Because it's got to be 11 versus 11 at this point in time. He's trying, but I'm just not convinced by him. Maybe I've just got him in the boo boy category from me, and maybe I'm a bit jaundiced. But Fulham are getting a real hold on this game now, and dare I say it, my early confidence is starting to ebb away quite quickly.
Yes, we were very, very confident 10-15 minutes in. West Ham 5 shots on target. Fulham didn't get near the goal, and West Ham haven't had a shot since. We're just 26.5 minutes into the game. It's West Ham United 0, Fulham 0. As I said earlier, West Ham had the best shots so far, or the only shots so far. But Fulham, as Gnome's pointed out once or twice, especially with the threat of Mitrovic, beginning to get back into the game. And we shall see what happens. It's all very interesting, all very balanced at the moment. Rio, West Ham sort of, we've gone a bit quiet, haven't we? We can't seem to string 3 passes together at the moment, giving the ball away quite a bit. It's all looking a bit hurried out there.
Yeah, we need someone to get a foot on the ball in midfield. Kearney's beginning to run the show a little bit. They've definitely targeted Cresswell at the back. Every time Mitrovic is targeted by the Fulham players, he's always pulling off onto the wide towards where Cresswell is, using the physicality and height advantage over him. So that's something we really got to be aware of.
Yeah.
Just going back to the forum, our old friend Billy Dino has piped up with his Prophet of Doom comment for the first one of the evening. I've actually gone past it because, here we go. As expected, 5 at the back, invited the worst team in the league to take their team with attacks, meaning no real pressure to keep the defensive shape. One trick, Dave. Come on, Bill, have a night off, mate. Come on, please.
Well, at least he hasn't had a dig at 4 nails yet, I suppose. So, every cloud and all that.
No, I actually noticed a little bit of praise for him earlier in the week, which I think's triggered my kind of almost illness because I've not felt the same since.
Just chipping in there. Cresswell got a good cross in, found Bowen, who couldn't get the direction on the header. It's been cleared, but we're beginning to build up a little bit of pressure now. We've had a bit of a breather for a few minutes. Masuaku on the left plays a dangerous ball in, and I think it's better. The ball to Masuaku. Masuaku was offside, one of those late flags, but promising move there. Cresswell played the early ball in instead of feeding Masuaku. Good run from Bowen. Got into the post. He's unmarked, but I think he lost his GPS wasn't working there. His sat nav, and
yeah, I think that one fell to the wrong player, didn't it? No, I mean we had Souček and Hilaire in there as well, and it ends up on the head of Bowen.
He headed it square rather than towards goal, and it got cleared. But a little bit better from West Ham there.
Yes, 29 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Fulham 0, but West Ham beginning to build again after going to sleep for the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. I mean, Masuaku, Pinky, I mean, he's had his knockers over the months.
Don't you start. Yeah.
Getting involved again a bit now. And, we're seeing him at the right end of the pitch. Sorry, everyone.
Heavens above. If this was a cup game, you'd be describing it as a B cup or a C cup, wouldn't you? But I mean, good news.
I'd just say West Ham have won a corner. That didn't look like a corner to me, but it's been given that way. Bowen's about to take. There's a lot of running around the box. Bowen takes in swinger. Keeper palms it away. Played back in. It's come again. He's punched it away again. And it's going up for a throw-in on our left.
I mean, this keeper, I think, might have some Scottish blood in him. He's got that sort of look around him. He's flapping a bit. He's one of those keepers who I think doesn't like close physical contact. So if you could put Souček up against him,
I'm still on the earlier jokes there, Pinky.
Indeed.
I was waiting for the punchline there. I thought it was coming, Pinky, but no, maybe later. But he's a bit, and he's flapped at a couple there, and well, that's good for us, I suppose. We are half an hour in anyway. It's West Ham 0, Fulham 0. West Ham beginning to exert a little bit of pressure once again after starting really well and then going off the boil a little bit. But no, where's our first goal going to come from? We're seeing lots of good stuff down the right hand side. Bowen getting involved quite a bit, Fornals as well. But who do you see opening up Fulham here?
I think we might be looking at. I mean, obviously, a goal could come from anywhere, but a couple of times where Bowen's been coming from deep, and okay, the header he lost his bearings a bit, but he had that shot earlier on, he's clearly sort of keeping an eye hanging back a little bit, and I was just wondering what was going on. There was a free kick to West Ham. I think it was offside by the looks of things, and the play brought back for that. Kufal's down the right hand side now. Tries to cut back in, but gets blocked, and it's thrown to West Ham. Thrown into the box, trying to find Bowen, but not found him. Oh, now Haller's gone down, holding his face there. I think there's probably nothing in that, but it's. If he changes his name to Salah, he's probably getting something there. But I think he just probably caught a stray back of somebody's hand accidentally. He's up and running now, but there's nothing in that. I wouldn't want to see a penalty for that.
No, I think the referee cast a cursory glance at that one and just decided to carry on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Certainly didn't seem like anything in it.
West Ham enjoy a bit more possession now, a bit of a spell of possession. And we need to be getting Masuaku on the ball, but it's played long towards Haller, who holds it up well, feeds Fornals, who makes a bit of a meal of that and gives it away to Fulham. But that's the first time we've seen it played long up to Haller for him to sort of hold up with his back to the goal, which he did quite well there, to be fair to him. But Fornals really should have done a little bit better with the possession he was given. So Fulham in possession deep in their own territory. And it's one of those things where we press them hard enough. It goes back to the keeper, whose kicking is a little bit woeful there. Goes straight out for a throw in. West Ham can start turning the screw again.
Another example of that high press, as it's called now. When I was younger, it used to be called pushing up. I think something as simple as that. But yeah, high press seems to be the in phrase at the moment. Pinky, you mentioned earlier the midfield, Souček, Rice, not been particularly effective so far. We haven't seen an awful lot of them, have we?
No, I mean, dare I say it, their talents are really stopping it heading in our direction rather than creating going forward. I just wondered if we'd be better off, saying to Declan, just push up a lot more. Just play your game 15 yards further forward, and just park yourself there, because this is now starting. We're 33 minutes in. Get to half time and 0-0. Scott Parker's team talk is going to be, do you know what? The longer this goes on, the more West Ham will feel the pressure, and we need a goal. For all of our oohs and ahs we were doing the first 5 or 6 minutes, really, since then, how many saves has their keeper really had to make? And not quite enough for my money. And Fulham on the attack again here now. I mean, they've got some good players with some good footwork around the box. Very nearly a clumsy challenge there. And it's that sort of thing. It'll be a dodgy penalty or a poor challenge in our box, and suddenly what should be a comfortable win.
Football now, though, as Rice finds Masuaku on the left. Some nice one-touch football. Masuaku player has been blocked. Played the ball in, but there was some nice build-up from deep in our territory. Haller came very, very deep to hold on to the ball, play it back, and give and go. It was a nice move.
I've got to say, Gordon, I mean, anyone that complained about the Sam Allardyce era and now watching this here tonight, when we lost possession there briefly, we had 6 players the wrong side of the ball, and ultimately that's what did for us, I think, against Liverpool in the end. And we're committing so many players forward that, we've, for us as West Ham fans, it's lovely to watch. But there is I'm trying to square the circle. David Moyes is getting tired with the same brush as Sam Allardyce. And this is chalk and cheese. This is, dare I say it, kamikaze football. It's Rinus Michels, eat your heart out. This is everyone getting forward and players interchanging. Great stuff to watch, but we'll get mugged at the back.
Yes, we shall see. We shall see. Still 0-0. Rio, going back to a point that Pinky made just a minute ago about, Scott Parker will be happy if we go into the break at 0-0. One of the things we've sort of touched on before in recent weeks is the fact that, no fans at the ground has perhaps helped West Ham a little bit. In a game like tonight's, do you see that again as being, helpful to us? Because I'm kind of thinking that if there'd been 60,000 people in this stadium, there might be a few getting a little bit restless by now.
Yeah, and that's kind of mirrored on the forum as well. There's a little bit of dissent creeping in. Just pure frustration. We started off so brightly, all over Fulham for the first 10 minutes or so. We've allowed them to get my foothold in the game. And I think today we're actually benefiting from the crowd not being in there, because it's a game we're expected to win. And the crowd would have been getting restless now. Frustration would have been kicking in. Certain players, particularly Seb, will probably be getting pelters at the moment. And
Fulham have got a corner at the moment, by the way, guys. Craney's on the...
Go on, Gnome. Take us on. We'll come back to that in a minute, Rio.
It's going to come into the box, this one. Craney plays an in-swinger, and Cresswell meets it, clears it. And Fulham play it all the way back to the halfway line. Fulham had a promising break there that was down our left-hand side where Cresswell eventually blocked the cross in, hence the corner. But that was the game getting stretched there. It was Lookman took the ball out, and Fornell was a little bit lucky maybe not to get a bit more punishment for an attempted drag back. And another cross in from the right. Mitrovic looks to get on the end of it, but I think it's Balbuena's beaten him to it, and it's gone out for another corner. Mitrovic
seems to be everything's going through the big man, Gnome, doesn't it?
yeah, that's good play by Balbuena. Mitrovic did actually win the ball, but Balbuena had enough there to put the ball out for the corner. He's a big lump, isn't he, Mitrovic? I didn't realise that. But anyway, another corner.
A real throwback.
Fulham's right. Just waiting for it to be taken. This is going to be an outswinger. Oh, it's been pulled right back to the edge of the box again. And they've got a man over. The ball comes in, and that's Souček heads clear. Fulham are obviously working on their corners. They've got various different tactics. Sorry, the ball's been played at the box. Opponent doesn't quite clear it to touch. And Fulham come back again now. Again, enjoying a few minutes of possession. Again, out on our left. Arthur's trying hard to block any cross that comes in there, but it hasn't come in. It's been played. And it's all the way back to the halfway line again for Fulham. So some good pressing there, but they're keeping possession well, Fulham, at the moment. And now Lookman's got a bit of space to walk into, and he's dribbling. Mitrovic is just, should have scored. Put it wide. Well, what happened there? The flag's up anyway. One of those late flag again, so we can all.
Mitrovic.
We can all switch our heart monitors off, but.
Mitrovic.
Pinky, come in there.
Yeah, that's what we're saying about Mitrovic at the start of the show. You know, slightly too good for the Championship, not quite good enough for this division because.
He's well offside.
He's a mile offside anyway, but the bottom line is you've got to hit the net. I mean, make the officials make a decision, and you've got to be hitting the net from there. You know, when you've strayed a yard offside to give yourself the edge, you've got to do it. But that's what I'm saying. The other thing that I'm noticing there, he's not exactly blessed with a huge amount of pace, and I just wonder that's why we're quite willing to commit so many players forward. Is that I could jog back and catch Mitrovic. You know, it's one of those. The other thing that we've got is when we're out of possession, the gap between our back five and the four in front of them this week is a couple of yards wider than it was in previous matches. We're a little bit looser, and maybe
we've always been
easy to play through us.
Yeah, very good point, that, Pinky. We've always been, or in recent weeks, been very, very compact when not in possession. And as you rightly pointed out, good observation, far more spaced out, harrying Fulham's back line, looking to force an error, in the opposition half. And that's the payoff, isn't it? You're going to leave space behind if you do that. But we are rapidly approaching half time now. 41 minutes just gone. Rio, West Ham United 0, Fulham 0. No goals yet. West Ham with the best chances so far. Closest we've come to seeing a goal. Seb Haller hitting the bar with a header after 6 minutes. Rio, what are you thinking on the first half performance so far? Are you happy? Disappointed? What do you reckon?
I'm rather disappointed, and it's the central midfield that's my worry at the moment.
Yeah.
We're letting them get a massive foothold, and Declan and Thomas just haven't been at the races. Been very sloppy in possession when they've had it. They just look a little bit lethargic, and Kearney's dictating a little bit. And if he continues to feed Lookman, we could be in for a little bit of a rough ride in the second half, because Lookman's for me their best player, but we're letting Kearney kind of feed him into it and grow into the game. I think either Pearcey or Moyes has got to get hold of both Declan and Tom Souček at half-time break and remind them of what they've done so well in the last few weeks. Because against a better calibre of player, they've looked twice the person they have tonight. We're making Fulham look a decent side here at times.
Yeah, they've definitely grown into the game as it's gone along. No, and what do we do?
Ball from West Ham now. Kuffel's on the ball. Cross goes in, and it's headed away for a corner. Some nice football there. Some good one-touch stuff, which meant I think it was Fornals was able to find Kuffel on our right-hand side.
Well, let's stick with that. Let's stick with you for the corner, Gnome.
Yeah, okay.
Before that comes in.
I've got a thought about on our wide players, which I've come to when we get a moment, maybe at half time, perhaps.
Okay. Okay.
But Bowen takes the corner. It's swing out and good clearance there. The ball's out back to Arthur, who's our furthest player back, and we've got Fornals on the right now at the moment after the corner, and Bowen's there. No, he's not been given an awful lot of options there, and for the time being, Masuaku's almost playing as sort of centre half at the moment, with people having gone up for the corner. Still got the ball though. Let's push forward, and Rice is looking for options, and we've got Fornals, as I say, he's still out on the right. Nice ball played down the channel to Bowen, who does well to shake off the attention to the fullback. Gets the cross in, but it's cleared again, and it all dies a death there as a couple of fouls he could have picked from, and free kick to Fulham. No, comeback's going to make on our wide players is that
yes,
when Masuaku gets the ball, he's often looking to take a player on and get forward. Kufal doesn't look quite as comfortable doing that. He doesn't see he's not really that sort of player, and if Bowen could get out a little bit more wider from time to time, I think anybody who's willing to try and take on a player on the right hand side might well find it worth their while, because Kufal's not that sort of player. He's more a I wouldn't say defensive, but he sort of tries to hold up that side rather than make things happen.
okay. We just saw a shot of Scott Parker on the sidelines there. Thank you, Gnome. Pinky, Scott Parker, not really looking a day older than he did when he was playing at West Ham, does he? He seems to be ageless.
Indeed. In fact, he looks the same age as when he was doing a McDonald's advert. But
that's half time, by the way, with no added time.
Amazing.
Right,
and there's a first.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell the temperature's dropped a bit. They all want to get inside, but it's a bit warmer. But, I mean, for me, not a bad first half from West Ham.
Yeah.
Certainly early doors, we created plenty going forward. We looked very lively indeed, and for the opening sort of quarter of an hour, bossed the game. But there just seems to be that Fulham have kind of found a way to get us, right in the middle of the park. They're moving the ball quite well, and I think we just need to be a bit careful here, because this has got all the hallmarks of a penalty in the 88th minute to Fulham. And we'll look back at it and go, and we'll be looking at the stats, and we've got stats up there: goal attempts, 8 for us, 5 for them; shots on target, 4 for us, none for them; 5 corners for us. I mean, the numbers look great, apart from it's nil, and therein lies, our soft underbelly, because on what we've seen tonight, Fulham don't look like a bottom 3 team at one end of the pitch. They look quite good going forward. And I think Parker might have done just enough to shore them up at the back. So if I was a betting man, I'm not sure I'd be putting my money on Fulham going down. I think they might survive now.
Okay, interesting stuff. Well, there's certainly done themselves no harm at all in the first half here. It is, as Noam rightly pointed out there, 45 minutes and 4 seconds, just 4 seconds added on at the end of the first half. We can't even say it's added on, just probably the time it took the referee to look at his watch and realise that it was time for a break. And as Pinky says, they couldn't wait to get off and get a cup of tea. And we need to see a bit more from West Ham in the second half. It was, of course, a brilliant start. Aaron Cresswell with the first shot of the game after 5 minutes, a shot well saved by Areola. And 2 minutes later, Bowen's volley, a 25-yard volley, tipped over the bar. It was goal bound. It was going to hit the back of the net, but the best save of the night coming from Fulham's number one there. Yes, I'm just having a quick glance. He's actually Fulham's number one for a change. And then, of course, a minute later, 7 minutes, Sebastian Haller going closest to opening the scoring in the first half with a header that cannoned off the crossbar to safety, unfortunately, for West Ham. So it is West Ham 0, Fulham 0. Fulham getting into the game. No real clear-cut chances, Rio, for the visitors so far. But do you agree with Pinky that they're looking a lot better than their position may kind of suggest at the moment in the Premier League?
Very much so. But obviously, the first like 5 or 6 minutes, we actually dominated, and we could have been 2 or 3-0 up.
Yeah.
But they've taken hold of the game. They've got a couple of very good players. I mean, Lookman looks probably the best player in the picture for me at the moment.
Yep.
Kenny's been allowed to play his natural game, and he's looking a threat. Mitrovic, for all his kind of sluggishness, and he was very wasteful of the chance earlier. I know there was the area of an area of offside about it, but he really should have done better. Yeah, I think it's been summed up by Vic Watson put on the forum. It's the most Jekyll and Hyde match thread we've had in some time. And someone's put Essex guy, it's one of the most bipolar performances. Great in the first 15 minutes, awful in the last 15. There's a lot of criticism beginning to creep in and frustration. Moyes is coming into for a little bit of a stick, as his Fornals, predictably. Hilaire.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to, there's one comment which, here we go. Billy Dino, as per usual, 53% of the ball for Fulham. We're at home against the worst team in the league. We had a 10-minute flurry and that was it. And someone put, that's not bipolar, that's West Ham. And as someone else has put, Steps, you just know we go to pot. When we started playing the games, we should be winning. It's West Ham all over. And like we were saying earlier on, if we'd have been in a packed house there, I think the frustration would have filtered through and it would have put us on the back foot even more. It would have been a very, very difficult night, I think. I think an early goal is desperately needed to try and turn the tide, not only for the team, but for the sake of me moderating the forum at the moment.
Thanks, Rio. No, did you sort of agree with Rio there? You know, you think an early goal is a necessity here, or is the fact that we don't have the fan base inside the stadium getting a little bit more restless gonna help us? And I mean, West Ham can be a little bit more patient than they may perhaps otherwise have to be.
I think the players must pretty much be getting used to the lack of fan noise now, any case. So whether it would it's been this time last year and we'd just gone into lockdown, then maybe you could say the lack of fans might actually make a difference. But we've played enough games behind closed doors now for that to be the norm, really. We're sort of being quite pleasant to Fulham here, and they are off the back of a win. But I think if we do actually get that early goal, we'll see what Fulham are like at the moment. Because I think one will soon be followed by two. I think that their confidence is a fragile one at the moment. So, excuse me. So we need to be patient going forward. And as I say, I mean, the first 10, 15 minutes, we could easily have been 3-4-0 up. I mean, the shots, the shot that was saved, and then the follow-up save from the keeper there. The other shot from Bowen, the hitting the bar from Haller. These are all good chances. So half time, just tell them, remember that first 15 minutes. Go do that again for another 45, and the dividends will come. We've been a bit unlucky. Fulham's luck surely can't hold out for 90. Just be sensible and watch them on the break.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you. Pinky, I'm getting strange feelings of Newcastle all over again here. A sort of fairly even first half. I think we hit the bar in that one, didn't we? Once or twice in the first half, and it sort of all went to pieces in the second half. Tell me it's not going to happen again.
It's not going to happen again.
I like it.
I mean, let's be clear what's going on here. We're committing more players forward, and we're not working quite hard enough when we lose possession to get back into the very disciplined shape that we've had for the last half a dozen games. And I'm sure, you know, if a fat bloke in his armchair in Essex can spot that, then David Moyes would have spotted it sometime beforehand. And we're just not quite keeping the defensive shape. And it's as simple as that. And I think the talk at half time will be, do you know what? Let's focus on what we're doing without the ball as our first peg in the ground. Stop them coming at us quite so easily. And then we just might see that we'll see a lot more legitimate play coming from us, for want of a better phrase. We're a bit all over the shop at the minute. It's a bit, dare I say it, junior soccer school. You know, everyone's attacking and everyone's jogging back and all the rest of it, but we're not showing the same sense of purpose defensively. We're really not. And that gap that I spoke about earlier, just 2 or 3 yards between a back five and the four in front of them is massive. And that's why the likes of Lookman is looking very, very good indeed, because he's got acres of space at this level to operate in. And we just need to compact those two lines, snuff out that little threat, and I'm sure we'll be back on top in the game. That's what I'll be looking to do there now.
Okay, well, what were we doing in those in the opening quarter of an hour that we didn't emulate for the following half an hour? Well, why you know, have we not had so much joy since then?
I just think it was a case of that the opening quarter of an hour, Fulham were terrified. You know, I mean, that they were just, it wasn't so much us, it was them. You know, whereby I think they were a little bit overawed to start with, rode their luck, got away with it, and confidence grew. So, you know, simple as. And I don't think there's any more than that. I think the other thing, just to say on Seb Haller as well, I've been quite harsh on him. He has run around a bit more tonight. And maybe I'm being harsh because what I'm really talking about is how much we miss Antonio. And it isn't Haller's fault that he's not Antonio. You know, let's be honest. We've seen Antonio in a run of 4 or 5 games. We've been talking about him as Drogba-esque. You know, that sort of caliber, that sort of standard, battering opposition centre halves and giving them a torrid time. You know, if we had 2 of them, we'd probably be in the top 3 teams in the country, because most teams can't have 2 players of that caliber in the squad at the same time. So I think it's probably a case of we're missing Antonio rather than what Haller isn't particularly doing. I think in fairness to Seb Haller. So, you know, the good news on that front is Moyes was talking about he's back on grass training, and maybe, you know, the 4 weeks that was spoken about him being out, maybe that'll be curtailed by a week. So let's hope so.
Yeah,
but just
we do,
actually,
of course, have the international.
I think he said earlier on during the game, I think between us, we pointed this out, that that first 15, 20 minutes, when Fulham had the ball, we had that compactness that we were able to sit there and, you know, when a Fulham player had the ball, he'd look in front of him and he wouldn't have anything in that, excuse me, in between the lines to pick out. And eventually somebody would try and pick out a long ball and we'd pick it off and away we go again. Short, sharp, decisive attacking. And Pinky put had it right on there where he said we've lost that compactness to a certain degree, which means that they're not having to do that long, hopeful ball that we can pick off. Lookman has got that bit of space. They've got a little bit between the lines where they can do that. And that's our main source of possession suddenly is having to actually, you know, win tackles a little bit deeper than just picking off the interceptions further up the pitch. Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Rio, going to put you in David Moyes' shoes for a moment now. It's half time. It's 0-0. I'm actually going to have to disappear very, very briefly. So, Gnome, if I can leave you to deputise once again, as you did last week, for the next few minutes. But yeah, Rio, if you want to take us through, if you're David Moyes, what are you going to do at half time? What are you going to be saying to the boys? Are you going to make any changes, or is it just going to be a case of go out, carry on doing what you did in the first 15 minutes, and see if you can get your profits? And I'll be right back.
Part timer.
Yeah, I won't make any changes at the moment. What I think we have to do is, it's a victim of us having to play a bit more football and not be so reactive and counter. And that's where we're suffering a little bit, because we've got more time to think. We need to be a bit more proactive. We need Souček and Rice to kind of link up with the defence more. They're letting us have a lot of possession deep, and we seem to be lacking a little bit of ideas and creativity to break them down. After that first 15-minute spell, that's where we were suffering. A lack of discipline and lack of ideas and lack of creativity. All we seem to be doing is kind of attacking with crosses. We need to kind of break them down through the middle. So at the moment, I tell either Declan or Tom to, in tandem, one of them to drop deep, pick the ball up from the Ogbonna and Balbuena, and kind of feed in Fornals a little bit more, get him more involved into the game, because he hasn't really offered a lot and hasn't really been offered much opportunity after the first opening period. So we need to get a bit more creativity going, a little bit more tactical now. But if nothing kind of changes after the first 10, 15 minutes, then I'd look to bring Benrahma on. It's who you bring off, though, because we need the width of Arthur and the attacking impetus that he's shown. We need Bowen's industry down the right-hand side. I don't think, unless you switch to a back four and drop Cresswell left back, Kufel is a more kind of box standard right back.
Yeah,
and
Pinky,
try and open up through the middle.
Yeah, something I mentioned earlier on, Pinky, that Kufel, decent player as he is not the hasn't got the, shall we say, the sort of creativity, the attacking intent of Arthur's got on the left hand side. He's more a defensive minded player. Do you think that that's an area we might be looking a bit more to exploit somehow? Pinky?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think Moyes is almost welded now to, this is how I'm going to play it, and I don't think he's going to change anything till he brings Yarmolenko on in the 70th minute kind of thing. Because, let's not forget, it's still only 0-0. So we've not got a hat full of goals that I was anticipating at the start, but neither are Fulham. So I don't think we have to change anything too radically at this stage, other than just make it harder for Fulham to get in at us. And if we do that, naturally, then we'll come into the game a little bit more. And I just think we're making it a little bit too easy for Fulham at the minute. That's my main criticism. And
we're underway in the second half as
we are
as our part-time leader returns, and and we've immediately won a foul out on the right-hand touchline. Bowen just got clipped there, and so we have a free kick wide out right, about halfway inside the Fulham half. Let's have a look. Yeah, just I say clipped. It was a two-handed shove in the back. Not the most subtle of challenges you'll ever see. So, kick anyway out from the left, played in.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and Rice for a second looked like he was going to get in behind there, but it didn't come through to him. Fulham have the ball now and are trying to play it out from the back. Played long, and Masuaki's nearly got a foot in there, but Mitrovic has come away with it, and now Fulham are actually on the attack now. But well watched by Arthur, and wins the tackle, plays to Fornals, and we're playing it away. It's back with Fabianski, who clears long.
We are underway. Thank you, Gnome, for holding the fort in my short absence there. Again, rather shorter this time than last week. But West Ham United 0, Fulham 0. We're in the second half, and West Ham desperately looking for a goal here to get us underway tonight. We had a good start in the first half. Let's hope we can get one here in the second half. Now, I don't know what you guys were talking about while I'm away, but I presume you were talking about how we were going to get set up for the second half. So we'll not touch that. But Rio, what's the view on the forum as we start the second half? What's the mood like in there?
Yeah, it's not positive. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of kind of soul searching and looking for fixes. People asking for Benrahma to come on.
Yep.
Masuaku possibly, or Creswell to make way for him. Even Fornells. Trying to think that there was one comment. Someone said, take Haller off and put Souček up where he was. Bring Benrahma on to link up with him. Which I'm not saying I'd actually agree with completely, to be honest. Bill, though, has put Fornells as a big disappointment today. Slate Haller, maybe, but give him something to play with.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, it's not been Pablo's greatest performance today. And he really needs to kind of being given a bit more of an opportunity and fed into the game a little bit more, because I think he looks a bit alienated, and so does Haller again.
Free kick to West Ham in a very dangerous position.
Yes.
Long ball played from Cresswell up, was headed clear, and Souček was first to the ball, headed it forward, and got caught late by a high foot. Yeah, chested it down, just got caught late with a high foot there. Somebody's right foot to his midriff, to his stomach there. So taking a bit of wind out of it.
Pretty painful.
Yeah.
Reed it was. Reed looking a little bit James Collins-esque, no, wouldn't you say?
We've got more hair than Ginger at the moment. So
he has now.
Yeah.
So he has now.
If you don't mind, James Collins, if you don't mind.
James Collins, of course. Pinky, take us through this free kick, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. The Fulham keeper lining up was Wall. We've got Cresswell over the ball, Rice over the ball. What's going to happen? I think, personally, I think it'll be Cresswell that hits it, but we'll see. So the two
Could
of
go
them,
either way. This one
dead centre, just inside the D, on the edge of the penalty area.
And Fulham have gone with the player lying on the floor bit. Cresswell hits the bar.
No.
Now they're saying that there's a touch there for the keeper, and that should be a corner. Let's have a look again. I think he did get a fingertip to that. Let's have a look. This angle might be a bit clearer.
Difficult to say.
Yeah, difficult to say, but that's the closest again. This half anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe a set piece might be the key to unlock the Fulham defence. But good free kick.
Interestingly, sorry, no, it's because interestingly, you spoke about the guy lying on the floor there. Did you notice he was facing the wrong way round?
Well, I think he was just acting as a sort of doorstop.
Well, they normally face the ball, don't they? But this time he was facing his own goal, which was quite bizarre, I think.
It's sort of a draft excluder, wasn't he? Masuaku played the ball in and cleared again from Fulham. Masuaku wins it back. Ball played down the channel to Fornells, who wins the corner. So again, we started a little bit like the first half, where we're knocking at the door a bit. So Cresswell is out left now to take the corner, and just wait to see what we're going to do with this. Arthur's come short for it, but not that short. So Fulham have just sent a sentinel out to keep an eye on him, but it's going to go into the box. 2 hands up in the air from Cresswell, and then another sort of signal. All sorts of hand signals, like a tic-tac man. Cresswell plays the ball in the corner. It's an outswinger, headed across. It's gone wide. It's back out with Cresswell. Cresswell plays it in again. And it's clear Bowen. Oh! Now, I'm not quite sure what that hit on the way through, but it's gone for a corner. The deflection basically left the keeper stranded. Again, Bowen does very well to get over the ball, and it hits the defender and goes out with the keeper going completely the wrong way. And it hit the outside stanchion at the back of the neck, hence my pausing. Bowen's on the corner from our right-hand side, in swing again. Bonner nearly gets something on it, but it's gone all the way out to the other side and out for a West Ham throw. So good spell here, the first 6 minutes or so of the second half. Causing some problems from set pieces.
Yeah, West Ham starting very, very strongly, aren't we? Very, very similar Gnome to that first half, almost a carbon copy, in fact, also hitting the bar. But Pinky so close there, Aaron Cresswell, to opening the scoring.
Yeah, and you know, again, we're it's almost a carbon copy of the opening spell of the first half. You know, it's all being played in the Fulham half. We're completely in control of things now, but you know, the goalkeepers will argue that the bar and the posts are all part of their defence. So you know, you've got to get them inside or underneath to get the goal fairly obviously. For my money, though, just keep doing what we're doing, and the goal will eventually come. It's got to. It's got to. I think they've got a dodgy keeper. I said it in the first half.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that Nolan would have been pointing out that if we get corners in the second half, have someone parked on the keeper, put someone a bit nasty quite near, maybe Souček, and just rough them up a little bit. It's not exactly the Corinthian spirit, but it's that sort of thing just to put their keeper off might make the difference. Fulham, meanwhile,
good stuff.
Have ventured into our half. They're in possession, square pass, middle of the park now, and they're heading backwards. So they're retreating into their own half.
Just wanted to point out quickly a couple of comments in the YouTube chat. Now, Liam Wilson, who is a good friend of mine, actually, he's a Fulham supporter. And Liam points out that Fulham are always terrible for the first 10 minutes. If we can get out of those 10 minutes, we should give West Ham a good game. We've conceded 4 in 4, and it's not going to be a walk in the park. And he also says, if you want to win the game, you're going to need to beat us in midfield. Harrison Reed and Anguissa looking very, very strong. And of course, we've made the point already that Rice and Souček not looking quite themselves so far. So it'll be a keen battle to watch, I think, Rio, for the next 15 or 20 minutes just to see what's going on. We're just seeing Fulham get forward for the first time this half, but you're encouraged, Rio, by what we've seen from West Ham since the interval so far?
Yeah, you can't fail not to be. Started very much on the front foot again. I know it's a repeat of the first half. We've got to capitalise, but yeah, it's a good reaction so far. Going back to your comment about Reed.
Yes.
One of my friends sent me a message at half time. I can't read it back because I'm watching the game on my phone. But he mentioned he picked up Reed as their key player. He said he's been absolutely awesome in the first half. He's been dictating and controlling play. And to be honest, him and
Mitrovic Mitrovic has gone piling through into Fabianski. Ogbona's taken exception, and there's some pushing and shoving going on. Fabianski, to his credit, got up and ran away, but I think Mitrovic, the card's out. Mitrovic's going to get a yellow for that. Quite right. I mean, Fabianski came for the ball. Mitrovic just sort of came and jumped into him to rough him up.
Do we think the yellow was for the initial challenge, Gnome, or for the confrontation thereafter?
Probably a bit of both. I think the challenge deserved a yellow.
I've just got a feeling that Oggie's lucky to get himself in a spot of bother here. Let's see what he does to Mitrovic. No,
nothing in that. Yeah, Oggie stands his ground. Mitrovic pushes him away.
Fair play.
Yeah.
I think looking at that, Pinky, I think you'd have to say Mitrovic looked a little bit hard done by, didn't he? I mean, it seemed like he was completely rolled out of it by Fabianski and Ogbonna. Obviously, the reaction was silly, but
you clatter a keeper like that, and you're going to get yourself in a bit of bother these days. It's the game's moved on since '75, Graham. You need to get up to speed.
It has. Good Lord.
As Ogbonna's about to find out, he's just tried to make a clearance, and he's caught Craney. So Oggie's, I think, about there's a quiet word's going to be had, and a yellow card is going to be shown. I don't think he could have too many complaints about it. His foot was high, ball was up in the air. They both went for it, but Oggie
they'll be calling all week next week at Rush Green.
Yeah. No, it's the sort of thing that you'd expect to see a yellow these days for. So
no real
5 minutes, Oggie.
Yeah, he can't really have any objection to that one, I don't think, can he, Pinky? It's a fair one, and bit of both, I suppose. So one booking each, two bookings inside 60 seconds. Mitrovic for Fulham, Ogbonna for West Ham. Still no goals. The really important stats we keep saying, it's West Ham United 0, Fulham 0. It's 57 minutes gone. Looking at the stats from the game, West Ham 48% possession to Fulham's 52. West Ham 10 shots to Fulham 6. West Ham 4 on target. Fulham still, interestingly, to have a shot on target.
Keep an eye on Mitrovic versus Ogbonna. Mitrovic has just gone in a little bit sort of late on Ogbonna again then. Nothing too heavy, but just sort of throwing his weight around a little bit. Maybe want to keep an eye on.
Does he not have a bit of a history for getting sent off for especially at Newcastle, didn't he? Know there was he had it quite often.
For a spell, he couldn't stay on the pitch for more than half an hour.
Yeah, very, very volatile. You'd expect him to have grown up a bit now, but I suppose that temperament is still going to be there, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's actually seen red with Fulham in the past season. I wouldn't like to have any stats on that. Perhaps your mate could advise us of that. But I've got it in my head that he's not been redless since he's been at Craven Cottage, shall we say?
Yeah, well, actually, I'll have a look at that one while we're keeping an eye on the game. We are sort of 13 minutes into the second half now. Still no goals. West Ham once again starting the half really, really strongly, hitting the bar through Cresswell by having an effort that was goal-bound, deflected just wide, excuse me. And sort of it's all gone a little bit quiet again since. Pinky, what time do we start thinking about substitutions?
I'll probably end at 70 minutes, I would think.
So what time do we start thinking about them? What time does David Moyes?
Yeah, well, we know the answer to the second point, don't we, I guess? I think as Pinky's pointed out.
Well, I mean, I'm more relaxed with what David Moyes does with his subs than most, I suspect, because, why do you make a sub? To make a difference? And you're only going to do that if you genuinely think the players you've got on the bench are going to make a difference. And again, we saw it last week, he brings on Yarmolenko. He deliberately puts him in a position to compensate for the fact that he's not going to concentrate enough to do the hard yards in terms of tracking back. And then he gives the ball away in a crucial area. And we concede a goal 40 seconds later. So,
well, talking of substitutions,
Benrahma
is stripped and ready to go. So, and there's only 60 minutes just about gone. So,
good Lord.
Yeah, so maybe the clock's changing the other week.
It takes a while to warm up. It'll be on in 10 minutes. Yeah.
Well, Pinky, what are we thinking there? Fornells would presumably be the obvious swap, I guess.
You would think so. But you never know. He might decide to do something a bit revolutionary and put somebody up top with Haller. And say, do you know what? Let's see what he can do, and maybe sacrifice a player elsewhere in the park.
Yeah.
Oh, now we went a little bit route one there. Long ball from the back from Cresswell up to Haller. Haller nodded it back onto Fornells, whose first time shot was along the ground. Haller did well there to win the ball.
Yeah.
First time shot from Fornells, and the keeper thinking about it. It was a couple of yards wide. So.
But that's what we want to see from Haller, isn't it? No, that sort of hold up play, bringing players in.
Yeah, he hooked the ball back, and excuse me. So Haller again on the ball, plays it back to Fornells, and we got Kufel going down the right hand side, runs into traffic, and it's a West Ham throw. And,
I've a feeling he's going to go flat back four here.
Yeah, could well do. We've got, as I say, there's been also Lanzini, I think, was. We just put the ball out now. I think somebody's having treatment, are they? Ogbonna's down now. So West Ham have put the ball out for Ogbonna to have some treatment. I'm not quite sure what happened there. We did win a free kick a couple of seconds ago. The ball was up in the air. Whether or not something's been left on him there, or
okay, well, no. While we're waiting to find out what's happened to Ogbonna there,
Yeah.
I can tell you. I'm just had a quick look at the stats for Mitrovic, and
Oh,
would
right.
you believe it? He hasn't been sent off for the last 3 years.
Right.
Last season, played 34 games, was booked 10 times. 18, 19, 20 appearances, 9 bookings, and the season before, 21 appearances, 21 starts, and 6 bookings, but no red cards in any of those 3 years. So I guess he must have mellowed in his old age a little bit. But
Well, we're getting
what's
an
the-
enforced change here. The
Yeah.
little revolving hand signal there went, and Ogbonna's taken his gloves off, and his evening's coming to a premature end. He's just thrown his gloves on the floor, a little bit like Adrian.
I was going to say, yeah,
Yeah. So
doesn't look very happy. Does not look
yeah,
very. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen a replay of that, have we, Rio? I'm just wondering. I hope it's not another one of those dreaded groin strains that could be keeping Ogbonna sidelined for a month or so.
No, I mean, I'm still 2 minutes behind, so I'm not seeing it yet.
Ogbonna's gone straight down the tunnel for treatment, and as Diop, who finally gets presumably his wedding ring or whatever ring he was wearing off, and gets onto the pitch. So we have Diop and Balbuena, and Cress was having a quiet word with Diop, just tell him something to look out for, presumably. So 62 minutes gone the first sub, and that was enforced. That may change our
Say Ben Rama's not come on, has he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thank you. Thanks,
Carry
Tom.
on.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. Yeah, sorry, Rio. Just coming back to you quickly there. Diop not played for a little while. Going to take a little while to bed in, you would assume, in this one, but of course he hasn't got an awful lot of time. There's only 27 minutes of normal time to go.
It's a worry because our recent form has been built on a bedrock of a really solid defence. So altering that dynamic is going to take a little bit of getting used to. And particularly Ogbonna has been probably our best defender for the last 18 months. It's a bit of a worry. Just hope it isn't too serious. Just going back to Mitrovic, I just looked to myself. He's only had 3 reds in his whole career. And I think 2 of them were in the first few games at Newcastle.
Right.
He has got a reputation for being a real...
Can be
Mud
moulded
sticks,
by those few games.
Yeah.
So he marks his stall out in English football really early on, and he's just suffered for a little reputation-wise for a bit.
The Angel Thomas Repka.
I was just going to say, yeah. Yes, poor Tommy, poor old Tommy. Wonder where he is now. Probably languishing in a Czech jail, I would imagine, if recent news is anything to go by. But anyway, a real Marmite player, wasn't he? Tommy Repka. Some fans loved him and some absolutely hated him. But anyway, we're going to come back to the game now. 65 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Fulham 0. Pinky, it looks like that Said Benrahma change is going to be postponed for now anyway.
It's happening now.
Oh, it's happening now. There you go.
It's going to take him 5 minutes, 20 seconds to walk onto the pitch.
Yeah, there we go. So who's it going to be? Who's coming off? Is it going to be Fornals? We have to wait and see because the game's still going on. But so Moyes a little bit more proactive tonight, Pinky. Obviously, he'll know he's got to win this game, won't he?
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems when we all convince ourselves that 8 points from how many matches, you look at the opposition, that's not bad and all the rest of it. So once you go down that route and say, well, that's an acceptable return from those games, you're locking yourselves into a thought process that says, well, we've then got to get wins.
Need better from these,
yeah. And of course the opposition know that, because they'll be looking at it going, if you're Fulham, if you're Scott Parker, you're going, West Ham are the sort of team that are always likely to give you something, So he'd have targeted this tonight as a possible away win.
Since the Diop substitute, Diop came on there, we haven't really got our act together. We've not really got the ball or kept hold of it. Fulham enjoying a spell of possession, and they've worked their way now through. Cross from the left again. Mitrovic is allowed the header, heads it back, and a shot gets blocked. And we've got Fornals now going down the left, bringing the ball away. Plays it back to Masuaku. Back to Fornals, back to Cresswell, and it's all gone a bit quiet again. But Arthur's on the ball. Arthur's on the ball now, squares it, and it's back in the middle. I think that's Diop's first proper touch. And we're out. Well, we're playing across now, sort of without really any sort of forward attacking intent at the moment. Having said that, we've now got Arthur and Cresswell, Fornals rather. Again, beginning a probe. We're looking down this left-hand side. Ball in from Matuaku. Souček couldn't quite take that in his stride, unfortunately, and Fulham bring it away.
Oh, a real good opportunity there. Souček again. No, we touched on this, didn't we? Really not been involved that much tonight, has he?
No, a lot of running and a lot of off the ball work, but doesn't quite seem at the races there. It was drilled in and it was a difficult one to control, but on another day, he might have taken that and it'd have been in.
Yeah, he's making all the runs. I mean, we referred to in the first half, if you remember, the cross that came in. I think it was from Cresswell. That he was inches away from getting, and it ended up at landing on the head of Jared Bowen. So I guess he's getting into the right positions, but for one reason or another, it's just not working out for him so far tonight. But anyway, we are still locked at 0-0. Fulham defying West Ham so far, proving a tough nut to crack. And as Pinky says, you never know, could at this rate break away and perhaps grab a goal on the break. It's sort of beginning to look a little bit like Newcastle and Aston Villa, perhaps in a way.
Awful challenge from Balbuena.
Pinky?
Diabolical challenge from Balbuena just outside the box. And, he's about half a second too late. He's gone to clear the ball, but the Fulham player is very clever, gets in there. And for me, Balbuena's going with the Fulham lad at his foot up as well, but he was just too slow to it, Balbuena, in my view there. Good free kick to win for Fulham. It's
just a yard outside the box.
Yeah. Let's see what they've got here.
Okay, Pinky, well, let's stick with you. Take us through it. We are 69 minutes gone. West Ham 0, Fulham 0. Fulham with a very, very dangerous-looking free kick from 19 or 20 yards. Over to you, Pinky.
Yeah, okay. Well, they've got plenty of players around the ball. It looks like they're having a discussion as to who's going to hit the thing. They're still chatting away. Who wants it? They're not sure. Now, our wall doesn't look exactly tight to me. So I'd like to see that tightened up a little bit, because a well-struck shot there would just go right through it, I reckon.
Yeah, a lot of men in that wall, Pinky.
Oh, Mitrovic and Lookman played it between them, but straight down Fabianski's throat, thankfully.
Yeah.
The first save, I think, tonight, known for Fabianski.
I can't remember another, no. Maybe try to think as he touched it with his hands the rest of the game. It's all been
it's certainly Fulham's first shot on target. 70 minutes it's taken them to get it. But fortunately, Lucas Fabianski on hand to deny the visitors a goal. It's still 0-0, 20 minutes to go. We're getting very, very close. Has Ben Rama come on yet? He hasn't come in, has he?
I was just going to say that.
As Pinky said, it's taken him about 15, 20 minutes to warm up so far. So,
Fulham actually getting into a good position there. And that's the Cordova read. Eluded a challenge and got a shot in. Fabianski had his second save to make.
2 inside a minute for Fabianski, in fact, having waited 70 minutes. Fulham's shots, obviously a bit like London buses or policemen, whichever you prefer. West Ham United 0, Fulham 0. And we're inside the final 20 minutes. Is there going to be a winner? Is somebody going to snatch this game, Rio? What's going to happen? Where's West Ham's goal going to come from? Or Fulham's?
It's a bit frustrating because I've just seen Balbuena kick what's his name up in the air. So
well, you're all right. They don't score from the free kick. We can tell you that much.
I can't offer much in terms of up to the date current information, to be honest.
Okay.
But I think we definitely need change. We've gone incredibly flat. We're letting Fulham get back into it. If we're going to get a goal from anywhere,
substitutions about to be made. Double substitution.
Okay.
I'm hedging my bets and going for Ben Rama to score.
Fornals is off.
We'll take that.
On, and Fornals and Bowen are both going ashore. Benrahma and
Bowen.
Lanzini are on.
Interesting,
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
What's the logic there? No, but take. I mean, Fornals perhaps could understand he's not really been at the races tonight, but he's been
not
one of our
created
most
much.
influential players, you'd think, so far.
He's not created much. Bowen at times have been screaming for the ball out on his wing, but Kuf hasn't really been sort of giving him an awful lot of attacking assistance, if you like. But that's our 3 gone now, so no more subs. And if we're going to win it, we're going to have to do it with these lots. So pushing forward, Rice plays the ball out wide, and Kufal's first touch is awful, but we managed to nick a throw in from it as Robinson puts it out, and we go to build again. So
interesting. West Ham, David Moyes made all 3 substitutions by the 72nd minute, clearly deciding that enough was enough. The initial game plan wasn't working, and looking to get those players. And Pinky, we spoke ahead of kickoff about Benrahma perhaps wanting to get one, back at Fulham, having been on the losing side in that playoff final at Wembley. This is his opportunity. We haven't really seen anything. I mean, what did we see? 3 minutes at Anfield the other night. I mean, have you seen a lot of Benrahma? What sort of things are you expecting him to do?
I wouldn't recognise him if he delivered pizza to my front door in half an hour. I'll confess I don't watch an awful lot of Championship football, so I read comments on the forum that people say he was the best player in the Championship last year. We'll see, and we'll see what does that really mean. I suspect he's going to play quite far inside. I mean, he's drifting in already. So, to be fair to Moyes, he's got nothing to lose. You put on the chairman signing. If he gets the goal, well, it's an inspired substitution. And if he doesn't get the goal, you just, look at the chairman and go, well, maybe your agent mate doesn't know quite as much as he thought. But I think we need to be fair to him. It'd be very early days for him. And it took Fornals plenty of games to settle down and start to look like a half decent players. And I think we need to be equally generous of spirit to Benrahma. Asking him to deliver us a victory tonight, I think is a bit rich, to be honest. Let's just see if he can get into the game a bit first.
Well, he certainly looks quite busy at the moment. He's buzzing around, requesting the ball at every opportunity. So that's a good sign, and it's showing he's confident anyway. Talking of confidence, Rio, are the members of the KUMB Forum still confident 74 minutes in with a game hanging in the balance at 0-0?
Not at all. I think he's summed up most of all by Macca 1973, who's put, sad to think with half an hour to go home to Fulham, I'd take a 0-0 now. We're not going to win this, are we? Essex guys put, win possession, play it wide, cross the ball, lose possession, rinse and repeat. And that's pretty much indicative of the comments coming through. The little bit of infighting as well, which I might have to deal with in a moment as well. So, not a lot of
another
happiness
cross
there.
goes behind Souček. He does well to get any sort of header on it, but Benrahma did well to bring Lanzini into the game. That was the first proper touch there for Benrahma, but the cross needed to be better coming out wide. I think it was Lanzini put the cross in, and Souček, it was kind of behind him. He got something on it, but just looped through to the keeper.
Haller looked a little bit frustrated there. No, was he hoping that Souček would have left the ball for him? Do you think, or was he just frustrated at the angle of the cross?
Probably a bit of both, really. I don't think he'd have done much better with it. I don't think he was in a better position, really. I'll have a look at it again in a minute when I show it again. But I think he was just frustrated that we didn't get a great cross in. So now Kufal plays the ball in, and again it's cut out. And Kufal then gives away a free kick on the edge of the box there. He's got the standard "what me ref" look.
Very Repka-esque, in fact, wide-eyed and gazing at the referee.
I think he's got a point there. I think he was fouled more than fouling. Let's see that again.
Yeah,
I think he was taken out. I've got a bit of sympathy for him there. When players normally do that, look, you know that they're as guilty as sin normally, but he just stood his ground and got taken out. So I owe him an apology for that one. He had that what me ref look because he hadn't done anything.
Those Kufal deliveries, Pinky, very, very similar so far. All going to the near post and low. Something they've been working on in training.
Funny enough, when he put his last one in, I thought actually we're not quite getting it, because Fulham are finding it quite easy to deal with them all.
Yeah.
And there's almost like a lack of variety in what we're doing. To the point of we are running out of ideas. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I just wonder maybe rather than crosses from the flank to try and unlock them, it needs to be a little bit more straight up the middle, but slick into passing. And maybe this is a game for Lanzini to play more centrally and really unpick him as in the classic number 10 sort of mode. Just slinging the crosses in isn't working. They've dealt with it all night.
Yeah, just seen some really good work there from Seb Hilaire, actually, just dropping a bit deep and getting involved and winning a ball and then playing it off nicely. Perhaps becoming a little bit frustrated, Gnome, at not receiving a lot of service up front.
I think Fulham are actually now thinking last quarter of an hour or so will they'll be more happy with the point than we will.
Looking that way.
I think that's beginning to be reflected in the play where they're happy for us to sit back and watch us sort of flounder around in front of them, which is what's happening at the moment. We are getting some good ball out onto our right hand side, but again, as you mentioned, Kufal's delivery into the box has not been great. And again, it's perhaps, as I say, more a function of the fact that he's not really an attacking right player. And had Ogbonna not gone off, I wonder if there might have been a case to suggest Fredericks out there, given the way things are going. But obviously that's all hypothetical now. And we're enjoying a fair bit of possession, but precious little penetration at the moment.
Our two wing backs, they're playing very, very high at the moment, almost more like conventional midfielders, Rio, with Masuaku and Kufal seem to be playing very high. I guess, as Gnome says, that's easier to do when the opposition are beginning to drop deeper and deeper, as is the case with Fulham here.
Yeah, we're just flooding men forward a bit further. The only thing is, I think, are we going to get too congested? We've brought on Ben Rama and Lanzini trying to exploit space. We get too many people in there getting in each other's way, allowing Fulham to kind of cover us more. They can drop as deep as they like, and that third of the pitch is going to get so congested. Finding any kind of gaps and space to exploit is going to be even more difficult than it was. Need kind of stretch the play a little bit more rather than get too involved in that kind of 30-yard per section of the pitch.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way. I mean, we're playing a lot of ball from left to right and vice versa, but there's no real penetration. I'm not sure there's an awful lot of movement up there, but you're absolutely right, Rio. It's very, very congested in that final third of the field. As we enter the final 10 minutes of play, it's still West Ham United 0, Fulham 0.
Cross in. It's gone deep. We've got a man over there. Kufal. Now, I don't think you'll get a penalty for that, but Kufal played the ball in. There was certainly a sort of hand up, but they'll show that again, no doubt. Whether or not the hand was in an unnatural position or whatever it is, Lord alone knows these days. But it was quite close to it as well. So let's have a look.
Yeah, the perpetrator there being Anthony Robinson, the player we spoke about.
He had his arm across his chest like that, and I think it probably actually hit him just below that. Yeah. So
nothing in that.
We're about to make a change as well, which maybe not surprising under the circumstances. So we'll tell you all about that when the ball goes dead. We've just got just 9 minutes left now of normal time. There'll be a little bit of stoppage for the substitutes, and Ogbonna wasn't down for too long. Ben Rama's went on a run there, but got clipped halfway through it, and the referee decides he's not going any further and gives the free kick as we push forward again. Kufal seeing a lot of the ball on the right, but he seems to lack that desire to try and hit the line or to really take somebody on. So we've got Masuaku on the left who doesn't usually need a second invitation, but even then he's doubled up on. Clipped in from Cresswell, headed back by Haller. Souček, flags up. Again, late flag, so apologies for my raised voice.
Unfortunately, Souček put it well wide anyway, and it wouldn't have made any difference. But yeah, it's a frustrating night, Pinky, for Souček, isn't it? He's just not really been at the races, sort of got into decent areas, but slightly at the wrong time, or, you know, a poor touch here and there. You know, we're accustomed to seeing a little bit more from our Czech midfielder, I think.
Yeah, I think we've also got to factor in the more he's done those things that we all liked, the more video analysis everyone's got to look at and say nullify him in that area, and that area.
Yeah.
So it's going to become harder for him. I'm not sure his first touch is the best anyway. You know, I mean, you wouldn't expect it to be for a player of his size, but that again is going to limit some of the options available to him. I just think we've been a bit too one-dimensional tonight, a bit too predictable, and I think Fulham have done the homework, and they've coped in the main with what we're thrown at them. And I'd say at this point in time, yeah, they're worth a point, Fulham. You know, we haven't done enough.
No, we certainly haven't at the moment, and it looks like we're rapidly running out of time anyway. We have 7 minutes to go. It's still 0-0, and Rio, this half has pretty much mirrored the first half, hasn't it? You know, West Ham started really strongly, hit the bar in both halves inside the first 6 or 7 minutes, and then sort of really struggled to make any inroads since then. Yeah,
completely petered out. Just a lack of ideas. I mean, we seem to have gone into a shell of creativity, and it's what we was fearing last week. We have to try and alter the dynamic the way we play. We can't play on the counter all the time. And despite having the tools at our disposal to open up teams, we just haven't taken the initiative at all. We've been very flat, very one-dimensional. Dodgers on the forums just put, down the right, we have Kufal. Down the left, we have Cresswell, Masuaku and Ben Rama, and we're still trying to attack down the right still.
What's the view, Rio, on the substitutions? Is there any criticism for David Moyes for taking Bowen and Fornals off?
Not for the substitutions themselves, no.
Okay.
Going back to that, Aaron Aldino has made a comment. Moyes was finally set to make a positive reactive sub, and Oggy goes down. Yeah, put an end to a historic Moyes moment now. I think it's just frustration more than anything, you know. It's everyone was set up.
That, Fulham have made that substitution. Decordova-Reid is off and Loftus-Cheek is on. And, well, Kufal seemed to be taken down there again as he went down the right-hand side. And let's have a look at that again. Oh, he's just been pushed off the ball. He's been shoved. And right in front of the linesman, no free kick, nothing. Feel free to get involved for it.
I'm guessing they deemed he went down a little bit too easy, but I'm with you on that one. No, it looked like a shove to me.
Just
no
picking
question.
up the point that Rio referred to there about comment on the forum about, you know, we're overloaded on the left with attacking options, yet we're still going down the right. I think that's where we've got to give Fulham a little bit of credit. That they're actually defending in a way that is encouraging us to send the ball to the right to Kufal, because he's clearly deemed to be the less dangerous attacking option we've got from out wide. So I'd put that down as a tactical win for Scott Parker's team there, rather than anything we're doing particularly wrong.
Yeah, good point, Pink. I mean, Scotty Parker, Gnome is coming out on top at the moment. Tactically, he's got his team set up well. They've really restricted West Ham to only a few opportunities so far. And, you know, as we go into the final 3 or 4 minutes of the game, it's looking good for the former 3 times Hammer of the Year.
Well, yeah, just moving on the game temporarily. We've Haller's cleverly won a corner, shepherded the ball out, and Cressel's coming over now to the right hand side to take it, so that'll be swung in. Do you want to stay with me for a second while we look at that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. West Ham's 8th corner of the game. Let's hope it can produce something better than the last 7 anyway.
Yeah. Cresswell swings it in. It's comes out and in. And I think that's come off of Fulham. Oh, that looked like it came off of Fulham defender, but it's been deemed to have come off Haller. And it's gone for a goal kick. Well, yeah.
And he's not happy.
At that. And on first viewing, I thought that as well. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, it's come off I'm sure it's come off the Fulham defender. As well he might look aggrieved there. So, so goal. 3 minutes plus stoppage left, and we just need a spark. We need something different, some bit of creativity. We're not getting it. So.
It just hasn't run for us, has it? The last few minutes, those couple of that potential corner and the free kick which we should have had for the challenge on Kufal, just not really going, not getting the rub of the green. Pinky, I guess we're going to expect Parker to make subs now for the next couple of minutes.
Sorry, not Mitrovic. 15. Sorry. That's Loftus-Cheek. It's just picked up a free kick for basically delaying the restart of the free kick. It just turned around and said, "Oh, he kicked it against me," but he knew what he was doing there, and correct decision. So Cresswell plays it long from the left out towards Kufal on the right. Kufal gets there, plays a first-time ball on the ground there, which nobody seemed to want to take care of, and that's been played out. But only Masuaku gets it back, and eventually it's. I'm sure that went for a throw, a corner. Couldn't quite see in the corner there, but it's a West Ham delivery, whatever it'll be. Looking like a throw in, I think, from where everybody's stood. Yeah, Cressel's coming up for the throw.
We are inside the last 90 seconds. Can West Ham get the goal? Gnome, take us through this attack. Cressel with the throw-in.
Benrahma's got into the box. He's getting there. He shot. He got the ball down to the byline and shot from very tight angle. He had 2 goes at it, and Areola blocked both of them. It's a corner.
I think he might have had players in the middle that he could have pulled it back.
See
that. He did well to create the opportunity, but you've got to pull it back. And Souček's unmarked. Poor decision by Benrahma.
Oh, and Rice has lost the ball on the edge of the Fulham box. Fulham are now coming away. We need to be careful here. They've got 2 against 3. Getting it come forward. He tried to be clever with a back heel, which number 29 is now. I'm losing my numbers here, but
Aguisa.
Aguisa, yeah. They had a man over in Aguisa who tried to be clever, but that all stemmed from Rice. Really, sort of shouldn't have lost the ball that far up pitch, and we were stretched. His first touch let him down a bit, and quite what he was trying to do. He was never going to find anyone other than a blue shirt. So in the last 10 seconds of normal time, we'll see how long stoppage we're going to get.
We are rapidly approaching that point of the game where you're going to get one more chance to score a goal. Can West Ham take it? Frustrating evening for the Hammers so far. 90 minutes gone, 4 minutes to go, as Noma's just pointed out there. Can West Ham get a goal, Pinky? Can we steal it at the end? Do we deserve to steal it?
Well, we could do. I'm not sure we deserve it because I don't think we've done quite enough tonight. But I think this is one of those ones. Perhaps give credits to Fulham. I touched on it a few minutes ago about Kufal is basically unmarked. For the last 20 minutes. They're saying basically Fulham is saying feed him, and then we know that it'll break down at some point. A bit like in the old days when people would actually press us to make sure that our outball was James Collins, and the goal!
It's in there.
It's that man. We've been saying all night he's not been involved. He's been off the pace. He's not really been at the races. But there he is in the 91st minute. KUMB Souček, West Ham United 1, Fulham 0. And surely that is the points for West Ham.
Well, one would hope so. some good calm work there. I want to see the goal again, but some good calm work there from Benrahma, who earlier on had got that, I could get my first goal here. Oh. Well, will Haller be? I'm not sure this may not stand. I think the first ball in, Haller may be offside, but he doesn't really go for it.
No, I don't think he's involved in.
Yeah, Benrahma squares it, where he might have had a shot there, and it's Souček basically just side puts it in. We wait with bated breath for the nutters in Stockley Park to try and find a way to disallow that. I think this is all going to hinge on whether or not you think Haller's gone for the ball. Well, the ball's back on the centre spot, and he's blown, so it's a goal. You can't.
It is a goal.
Yeah. And,
it's taken 92 minutes to come, 2 minutes from the end of full time, and it looks like West Ham have nicked it right at the end. It hasn't been a vintage performance by any means from the Hammers, but it looks like it's going to be 3 points, Rio.
It's been hard work. It's been a long time coming, but thank God we've finally done it.
Well, don't count your chickens before the horse's stable door is, whatever it is. Fulham's got a free kick out on the left. They're making a final substitution. Anguissa has come off, and that's Cavaliero is on. Fulham got a free kick about sort of halfway inside our half, out on their left, our right. Ball's played in, it's high, and it's a bit of head tennis going on there. We need to be careful here. Ball's squared across. Ball's played in again. It's all
it's all a bit frantic.
It's got out for a Fulham throw. There's a little bit panicky there as we enter the last 30 seconds. There'll be a little bit more than that, I think, for the turnaround after the goal.
It looks like Scott Parker's still complaining there about the goal. I wonder if he thought that Haller was offside as well.
Yeah, long throw comes in from the Fulham left. It's headed clear, back out to I can't remember his name now.
That's a great header from Haller.
It's played into the box, and it's played out for a corner. Fulham desperately trying to get something out of this. We're in added time, so I think they'll get this corner across, and that'll be it. Once keeper's coming up for it as well. So
okay, well let's see what happens. Let's go over to Pinky. Pinky, take us through the last few seconds, if you will, sir.
Headed back to where it came from by Souček. Cross comes in again. Headed away. This is desperate stuff. This is desperate stuff. I mean, yeah, West Ham clear the ball. I think Fulham tried to make a desperate attempt to claim a penalty. Hang on, what's he checking here? What's he checking here now?
No, referee, surely not.
Well, Fulham appear to want a penalty for something. Are we going to VAR? Let's see what happens. We're nearly we're seeing a replay.
They're going to give this, aren't they?
It's a penalty.
I think it's going to be. Yeah. What are we seeing? Who's the perpetrator? It's Benrahma, who was the assistant for the goal. It looks like he's tripped. I think it's Kearney. And I'm pretty certain, Pinky, this is going to be a penalty for Fulham.
Yeah, it's nailed on to be a spot kick. And no complaints, actually, to be fair. He's hooked his leg around him, and it's the classic, a forward player essentially doing a defender's job, and he does it badly.
Yeah, we're still waiting for that decision to come in, but it's going to be given. I think it's a formality now. It's almost certainly going to be.
He's got to have a look at it, isn't he? He's coming after all that. Why don't they just say, "Go and have a look at it"?
Yeah. I don't really see the point of this, because it's clearly been tripped. So we're going to see a Fulham penalty here, and it'll be the very last kick of the game, and Fulham an opportunity to save a point. But it looked like West Ham had stolen all three in added on time. We're just waiting for the referee to go through the formalities of checking the replay, but it's definitely going to be given, and there's no question about it. No.
Yeah, just looking at it again, there's a little bit of context. He's running back on. And no, I think it's given. They've not actually sort of made it clear, but
Yeah.
um,
Oh, David Moyes is furious. He's absolutely
given the foul.
furious.
Well, this is going to be the last kick of the game. And Lookman's on the ball.
Yeah, Fulham's best player on the night will have the opportunity to level the scores and take a point for Fulham. We are nearly 3 minutes over the 4 minutes that were added on at the end of the game. Gnome, take us through the final. We thought Pinky was going to take us through the final few seconds, but over to you, Gnome, for the penalty.
We're delaying it now, and Diop's been given a yellow card for his complaints. Dust is settled now, and we're just waiting for it to be taken.
So it's Lookman versus Fabianski.
Yeah, who's basically pretty much had what 2 saves to make all night.
Mm.
And Fabianski's back on his line now. Lookman's licking his lips at the prospect of, well, they'll get a point from this if he scores it. Lookman runs up.
Here we go.
Oh!
That is absolutely shocking. Rio, you wait until you see this, my friend. Oh, my days. What has Pinky, what has he done? What has he done?
You know, I mean, I'd make him walk home. I would make him walk home. There wouldn't be a spot on the bus for him. You know, I'd have him doing laps of wherever it is that Fulham do their training. And Balbrena goes up to console him, but I hope Balbrena's actually saying, "You try to be flashy here, son. That's what you get. You've made a complete arse of yourself." You know,
he had a decent game as well, Lookman, and all he's going to be remembered for is that.
Yeah, for the benefit, I should add, for the benefit of those of you that don't have TV coverage, Adamola Lookman has tried to do a Di Canio-esque chip, not down the centre, but into the corner. And Fabianski has just taken 2 strides to his right, plucked the ball out of the air, and it's game over. It's West Ham United 1, Fulham 0. West Ham have taken all 3 points. It's a quite unbelievable finish to what was a pretty, substandard game. It's shades of that 1978 FA Cup final between Arsenal and Manchester United when it all happened in the last 5 minutes, Rio. But as it is, West Ham have the points. We take all 3 points for the game. We go back up above Manchester City. What a crazy evening.
I mean, I've got to say, on penalty kicks, right, to anyone that plays the game, just go to YouTube, put in Ray Stewart, penalty kick, anything he's ever taken as a spot kick. That's how you take penalty kicks. Yeah. I mean, all this nonsense where people thinking they're going to outsmart the keeper and all the rest of it. What a load of tosh. And I'm afraid that's an awful, awful miss by the Fulham lad. And I've got no sympathy for him. I mean, Balbrena can give him a big hug and all the rest of it as much as he likes. If I'd been playing with Fulham there tonight, I'd be straight up to it and absolutely saying, "You absolute muppet," because there's no excuse for it. It's unprofessional. That's a shocking penalty. And he's got West Ham out of jail because I'm not sure we did enough to win tonight. Really, hand on heart. But we've got all 3 points, and you can say, well, how often has it happened to us the other way around? That's the point.
The word I've thank you, Pinky. The word I've written down on my sheet here is inconsolable, which is how Lookman looked as he was trudging off back to the change room. But I would imagine he's going to be getting a right hiding, Rio, isn't he, from Scott Parker, as Pinky says when he walks back into the change room. What was that all about?
And you won't just be Scott Parker. If I was Fulham, one of the members of staff, I'd be queuing up down that tunnel. And as he walked past, every single member of the playing staff, the officials, I'd be bussing them in from Craven Cottage. I'd be bussing in loads of them just to give him a little kick as he went. Make him run the gauntlet. It's a talented little player. What on earth are you doing? Just put your foot through it, you know?
Yeah.
The last minute
No,
of the game.
don't do exactly that. Do exactly what you did. That's what I'd have told him.
Jesus.
Unbelievable stuff. No, what do you make of that?
I have to say that I wasn't going to say it on air because I thought it might put the mockers on it. But as he stood there waiting to take the penalty, he did not look happy or confident that he was going to take it. And I mean, it was so bad that I don't think he tried to put it in the corner, really. I think he tried to put it fairly straight. And Fabianski had actually gone too far and had the time to sort of turn around and go back and get the ball. He got like this and then, it's there. It was that weak. And aren't we glad that it was? Well,
Well, we are, because as I said, it takes West Ham back up the table. We're back up to 11th place, and looking at 10 minutes ago at what would have been 1 point, and then what would have been 3, and then again what should have been 1 and is again 3. We've moved back up above Leeds, Manchester United, Newcastle, and Manchester City into 11th place. And Gnome, that points tally in total is looking pretty decent now, following that win tonight. And it might have been a bit lucky at the end, but we got the points. We did enough in the end. And looking at the positives, another clean sheet. Fabianski, 2 good saves when he had to make them, and obviously saving the penalty at the end.
Let's be honest, we've had very little luck this season, one way or another, have we? I mean, we were worth more at Arsenal, and last week was, Donald Trump is looking at legal action. Well, God knows what he'd make of that. Do you want to come back to me, because we've got some interviews at the moment, and I'll just
sure.
I'll pick up with that. They've got Suchek on it. He's got
no problem. Well, let's Pinky, I'll come to you in a second, but I just want to jump into Rio. And Rio, what are the Forum making of that penalty? I can just imagine the scenes on there. It's unbelievable stuff.
There's a lot of laughter, let's put it that way. There's a lot of smiley, happy, laughing their nuts off emojis flying through the forum at the moment. There's also a couple of really outrageous comments from me.
Okay.
Joke decision for a penalty followed by a joke of a pen. Justice. That's from Bend It Like Repka.
Okay.
I can't see how it was a joke decision. It was just a shocking challenge from Ben Rama, Yeah,
a silly thing to do in that situation.
The difference between last week and this week was that the contact from Ben Rama did impede the player, and we've got, and I think we're beginning to start. I think pundits are beginning to start realizing that not all contact equals a foul. And the difference between that and Salah last week was, there was contact, but it wasn't sufficient to impede Salah. It had no bearing on where the ball went, and Salah just threw himself, knowing full well it wasn't a foul, and cheated. Whereas that was a penalty. I've got no problems with that, because the contact,
because he missed,
sort of made him go down. There was nothing there to make him go down. So I don't think it was a joke decision. Poor judgment from Ben Rama, certainly.
Anyone? Sorry, no, Rio. Anyone else on the forum feel that was a joke decision, penalty, or does everyone sort of agree with Gnome that it was a fairly just decision?
Yeah, I can't see many dissenting voices. Just like the Bend It Like Repka comment really kind of struck me straight away, and I don't know what was worse, that comment or the actual penalty itself.
Unusual.
It's been a bit of a strange day, isn't it? We come at this full of confidence, absolutely buzzing, thinking we're going to rip the sides apart. And we spent 10 minutes in each half doing so. Then the rest of it pretty turgid, uninspired, and basically scraping for a point. And the poor lad who, for me, was probably the best player on the pitch, has made probably one of the most shocking decisions he'd ever make in his life.
Unbelievable.
And like I said, they'd be queuing up in that change room. Or thankfully, well, unfortunately for him, that tunnel, the walk from the pitch down to the changing rooms, that tunnel's quite a long walk. Now, there should be, like as I said, every 5 yards, there should be a player from the Fulham, representing Fulham FC, ready to give an absolute kick, then going back into the front of the queue and giving another kick. It's for a club that's to pick up points and got a really good win on Monday, and they deserve the point tonight. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's a shocking decision. Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
I'm surprised he took it. Really am surprised. Doesn't Mitrovic normally take them?
I was going to say that. Why would you not have Mitrovic? You know, who's a lethal striker. And did they not? Did he not miss one? I've got vague memories of Fulham messing up a penalty. Maybe it was the season they went down, but not so long ago where Mitrovic was involved or should have been involved. But yeah, it does seem strange. I agree with you, Rio. I think you'd ideally want your main striker, you know, your goal scorer on those, wouldn't you? Especially in at such an important point of the game. But yeah, I think you're right. He's going to be feeling that. I mean, Richard Van on YouTube says we'll take the points, but Lookman will be having nightmares for weeks. And he's absolutely right there. And interestingly, Marrakesh Talltree says, I only caught the last 10 minutes of the game. It looks like I saw the best part. Well, I guess bar the sort of first 6 or 7 minutes of each half, it probably was. Lewis John, touching on the point, Gnome, that you were making there a moment ago. Lewis John on YouTube chat says, how have we got away with the win tonight? Maybe our luck is changing after all these years. And we certainly haven't had a lot of luck this year, as you said, but maybe this is the year. Maybe this is finally our time. What do you reckon? We're certainly owed some, aren't we?
They're just showing the penalty again. And it was so funny because Fabianski has gone all the way over there, and then he's looked and gone, oh, I'm just getting bombarded with a few messages. Firstly, congratulations to the beautiful girlfriend who didn't trust the 3-1 prediction from Preview Percy's, just put us down for a win. Only won £1.80 on that, but had some sort of accumulator with us, Atletico Madrid, and Paris Saint-Germain. Those are three clubs that you don't often hear in the same mentioned in the same breath. And so she won a little bit more on that. So well done, dear. We rode our luck. I mean, that's probably the worst we've played since the opening day of the season. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And it's because we've had to adapt, as Rio so perceptively put it earlier on. We've had to change the dynamic because we've had that run of games where we were never expected to have that much possession and had to counter, and we did it very effectively, pretty much all the way through. This game, we had to take the game to them a lot more, and we did lack. We lacked a certain creativity. We lacked intelligence. Had Ogbonna not gone off injured, and we hope that's nothing serious. We've got an international break, haven't we? So hopefully that won't be too troublesome. But I might have been tempted to have swapped Fredericks on for Kufal. As I mentioned through the game, excuse me. That sort of thing from the right-hand side, the attacking merit. In the past sort of half dozen games or whatever it is, he's been needed more from a defensive point of view. Yeah. Fredericks does like to get forward a bit more, and I think that might have been a better option in for this sort of game. So, but we didn't play well. We still had the better chances. The keeper sort of had all sorts of saves that he make. They're just sort of showing the Bowen deflected shot now that that wasn't the keeper's save. The keeper was stranded on that. But
and the one in the second half.
To show it again now. Came off. I'm not sure who that was, but keeper would have been stranded there. But we had the better of the chances. Fulham will curse their luck. Sodom. Sorry, but
Well, I mean, you
I mean,
say that they cursed their luck, but it wasn't their luck in the end. It was the fact that Lookman had a brain fart and tried to do something
Is
spectacularly
that my
stupid.
fault?
Really,
Is that my fault? You know,
Bizarre.
last week we were denied a point by some breathtakingly dishonest refereeing. So I'll if payback for that is somebody having some sort of breakdown in the middle of the Olympic Stadium, then I'll take it.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him if it was against somebody else, but
yeah. No, a bizarre decision, and even though it's worked in our favour, it's a very, very strange one. And I guess you've got to feel, all joking aside, you've got to feel sorry for the lad because he's going to be enjoying a very uncomfortable next few days. Pinky's not bothered; he doesn't care. Tough luck, he says. Pinky, what I wanted to ask you about actually was after about 70, or actually no, it's a bit earlier now. I think it was about 65 minutes. We noticed that Ben Rama was about to enter the fray, and it took about 15 minutes for him to actually come on, and we were asking whether or not he could possibly have an impact in the game at such a late juncture. I think it's fair to say he did have an impact on the game because he created West Ham's goal, scored, provided the assist, and then provided an assist at the other end for the penalty. So difficult to sort of assess, his impact tonight, I guess, in some ways. But what do you think?
I actually broadly quite liked what I saw, if I'm being honest. I mean, the one he set up, he took the right option for. So he saw Souček was coming in, played the ball across to him, and Souček, didn't disappoint. A couple of minutes prior to that, though, when he tried to go for goal himself, when again Souček was loitering with intent, he'd have been better off pulling the ball back to him. So, but I thought his movement was good, a decent first touch. If I'm looking at him, you don't really expect to see him doing the defensive dog work where he was. I've got to be honest, I thought we were poor defensively all night. And I think a bit of credit to Scott Parker tonight, I'd have to say, because, it was getting increasingly obvious they were happy to see us feeding Kufal on the right, knowing that his final ball in wasn't quite good enough, knowing that he wasn't nearly as dangerous as, say, Arthur would be on the other flank. And I think with both Rice and Souček in the middle of the park, not an awful lot of forward passing coming from them either. We were a little bit, stilted in our attacking play tonight. So I think credit Fulham, they'd worked us out how to stop us playing to a certain extent. And of course, everyone else in the league will have seen that tonight and gone, oh yeah, we quite like that idea of how we can sort of blunt their attacking intent. So Moyes has got a few problems now to think through about. Well, Fulham have kind of like shown the template. Other teams will emulate them, and not at our best, but we got the points. And thank God we did. In terms of Fulham, I didn't think they were too bad, but that point tonight, just imagine how that young man's going to feel if they go down by 1 point come next May.
Do you think that was his Freddie Canuti moment? Do you remember when we had the penalty?
The Arsenal game.
Oh, don't. We never recovered. That season, we never recovered. And up to then, we looked really good.
Well, what was it? 6 months? 6 months before we beat Southampton?
Tragically, he was the best player on the park up to then. Tonight, he'd had a good game. And I just wonder if there was an element of, go on, son, take the spot kick because you played well tonight. If that is the case, then Fulham want shooting, because that's not how you decide how you take penalty kicks.
No, very much so. And I'm sure that'll all come out in the wash, no doubt. Gnome, have we had anything from Scotty Parker yet in terms of the?
Not yet. They had
Okay.
Kearney there, who just looked devastated. They asked him how Lookman was, which is possibly one of the most obvious answers coming back. Well, he's devastated. How do you think he feels? We've got Parker on now, so do you want to come back to this?
Yeah, let's come back, because before we are going to have to shoot fairly soon, but it'd be nice to hear from the managers first. Definitely would be good to hear what Scott Parker felt about that absolutely dreadful penalty, Rio. Have you ever seen a worse penalty than that?
In terms of offside position.
No, I don't think I have, to be honest. I'd just like to the comment from the BBC Sport. They do the minute by minute commentary.
Yes.
And this is from an esteemed international organ, much repute, the BBC. In their official comment was, ha 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 ha. That's one of the worst penalties you'll ever see. Adamola Lookman goes for a Panenka and completely fluffs it. It barely reaches the goal. Lucas Fabianski has time to start the dive, stop and wait for the ball to reach him. Abysmal.
Really, I don't know the offside rule.
I'll tell you what, standard journalism, the Beeb's gone down for me. Yeah.
Shocking. Where do they get them? Where do they get them from these days? Frank Keogh would be turning in his grave if he was dead. But yeah, I mean, is it the worst? I mean, I'm trying to think of a few England penalty shootouts over the years, and Chris Waddle and Pearce blazed a shot or two over, but at least they had a go. You can't even say that. Bizarre.
It's in the top 10 of all time stinkers, absolute stinkers.
Yeah,
I think the worst one I've seen for us. I think Adam Nolan tried a similar one in the friendly against Anderlecht. Not so well. When was that? 2002, 2003?
Well,
yeah.
The reason I mentioned Di Canio, because was it not Di Canio who did it against Villa when David James, I think, was in goal for Villa? And he tried the same thing and chipped it straight down the middle. And James I think it was James, just stood there and caught it and laughed. But
yeah.
It certainly wasn't the last minute, and knowing that, you can save, especially given Fulham's precarious position in the Premier League and the fact that they need every point they can get.
Completely naive. Yeah, absolutely naive, And as Pinky said, it's a shame for the lad, because he could have been the best player in the park there. He's just tarnished his reputation a little bit, and he's made himself a bit of a laughing stock.
Emotion, which is more disappointment, angry.
Pinky's drawn some support from the comments in YouTube. No, I'm just going to mute you for a second, buddy, because you're feeding back over the top of us. So that's better. We can hear ourselves now. I was just saying, Pinky's found some support on the YouTube comments there. Steve Palmer, I think this is in reference to his little laugh there at Mr. Lookman. Steve Palmer saying, Pinky, you're an evil git. And Hobo saying, Pinky, ha, ha, ha. My sentiments exactly. Kieran James Devaney. Good morning, Kieran. It's morning in Brisbane. It's a funny old game. Well, it certainly is. And talking of funny old games, kind of loosely going back to what we were saying earlier and keeping up with current affairs, did anyone see, nothing to do with West Ham, but did anyone see that video on Twitter of Donald Trump doing the draw for the third round of the Little Woods Cup with Jimmy Greaves? Have a look on Twitter. This is one of the most bizarre things you've ever seen. I think it was from 93 or 94. Donald Trump was the guest.
Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, you have seen it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, people, get on Twitter and have a look, because it is absolutely hilarious. And I think at the end, Jimmy Greaves presents Donald Trump with a Saint and Greasy mug, doesn't he, to take home, which I'm sure Donald Trump is crying buckets of tears into as we speak on the golf course over in the United States following today's news. But we're going to go back over to Gnome now, because sorry, Gnome, I just had to mute you there for a second because you're feeding back over the top. So if you can come off mute for us and tell us what Scott Parker had. What did he say about the penalty? We're all ears.
Well, he's disappointed on two fronts. He was unhappy about the goal, with Haller, the Haller being offside.
Okay.
Was in an offside position. Was he genuinely going for the ball? Again, I can see an argument there, but I don't think he was anywhere near the ball to really get it. So his argument was, well, my defender's got to go for it. So he's unhappy about that. Well, it's debate with that. The penalty, well, Parker's comment was, well, you can miss penalties, but you can't miss penalties like that. And he said the lad understands that. And yet again, you've got to love these interviewers, haven't you? Again, how does he feel in the dressing room at the moment? And well, he's not that bothered. He was going to go down the pub, but it's shut. But he'll go out and put his. Of course, he's disappointed. What a stupid question. Parker was very keen to say that he wasn't trying to steer the comment away from the penalty, which is obviously going to be the major talking point. Do you want to mute me again, because I've got Mr. Moyes now? So
yeah, let's do that. We'll come back to you in. Give me a little wave when you're ready to go again, and we'll hear what our manager had to say. No doubt, Rio, a very relieved David Moyes, you would think, after those final few minutes. Thought, saw us snatch what looked like would be the winning goal, and then almost had it snatched out of his hands a few minutes later, only for Lookman to perform that aberration of a penalty.
Yeah, it'll be a relief, man. We won at the races today. I mean, we started off like a house on fire in both halves, but not notching that early goal seemed to make the players retract into their shell, and seemed a little bit of panic setting. We didn't know really what to do with the ball. We didn't know how to find space. We didn't know how to exploit Fulham.
Yeah.
It looked like an age-old West Ham, didn't it? Everything we've seen good from the last few weeks, we kind of reverted to type. And that's something we've got to try and address. When we're on the front foot, when we have to go and attack teams and take them apart, we need a plan B, C, and D, because a lot of teams are going to come to us, stick X amount of men behind the ball, and say, "You show us what you got. You break us down." Now we can do it away from home against bigger sides, and at home against bigger sides, but against teams that we really should be, I wouldn't say even wiping the floor, but teams we should really be comfortably beating, we need to have a look at ourselves and think carefully about how we're going to do it, how we're going to approach it. And we've seen in the last few weeks that we've overcome really stiff tests and come up trumps. We've played really well for the last few weeks against the bigger sides. Now is where you earn your money. You pick up your points, you win these games. That's where we're going to make a name for ourselves and really stamp our authority in the Premier League. We've got the tools at our disposal. We've got an array of attacking talent. We just need to apply it in a proper manner.
Rio, Hammer Ted thinks he's come up with a worse penalty than the one we've seen tonight. He says the Diana Ross penalty at the World Cup a few years ago. Was that America 94?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to take that one, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure Lockman didn't have her heels on. At least Diana had a few heels on. And she'd exert herself by singing pretty poorly, I've got to say, before that.
Yeah.
But, and she's not paid 90 grand a week to take penalties, is she, to be fair to her?
Fair play.
Fair play. She's paid 15 back then.
Hammer Ted, go and find another one. We're not having it. Rio's not having it. Pinky, it's often said that if you can play below your best and still win games, that you can't be doing that bad. I think that was certainly the case for West Ham tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was. And how often in the past have we played well and then got mugged in the last minute? So it's nice to see the reverse happening, where we've not played particularly well and we mug the opposition, or really they mug themselves. One thing I would say, though, Antonio starts tonight, we win that 4 or 5-0.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Because what he normally brings to the party, we didn't have tonight. And, you know, and I know we've all got this theory about, you know, we play against a team that actually give you more of the ball and can you break them down. But I just think that the absence of Antonio is crippling for us as a football team. And, you know, I keep coming back to it. The manager wanted an upgrade on Haller because he's basically saying, look, he might be a good player in a different team and a different setup.
Yep.
But we're not going to have a different setup and we haven't got a different team. So I need to change the player that's going to come in and back up Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we've failed to do that, and let's take nothing away from Ben Rama, who I've already said, you know, he had a couple of nice touches tonight and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it was okay, but very much a different kind of player to what Antonio brings. And therefore we didn't get anyone to back up Antonio. That's the point, and we needed to. And Antonio starts tonight, we win that comfortably. We win that comfortably tonight. And that is the difference. And I'm afraid, you know, looking at the fixtures coming up, Sheffield United, do you think their defenders are quaking in their boots at facing Seb Haller? Do you think they're going to have sleepless nights? Do you think they'll be sat there going, oh, we're going to get a bit of a beasting that night? You know, nasty Seb's going to be coming at us all night and saying, I say, chaps, would you mind awfully just moving out of the way so I could just have a clean run in at goal? You know, it's not going to happen. And you know, they'll have a couple of right nasty players out there giving it a bit of physicality towards Haller, going, let's see if you fancy it, son. And he won't. And that's the problem. So maybe Moyes is going to have to compromise and say, I don't want to change my system, but he saw tonight, in the absence of Antonio, we haven't got the personnel to make it as effective as it needs to be to beat teams like Fulham, Sheffield United. So maybe we have to go back to the drawing board.
Thank you, Pinky. Speaking of David Moyes, as you were there, Gnome has been listening to what the boss has been saying in the wake of that quite extraordinary 1-0 win. Gnome, over to you. What did Moisey make of it, that last bizarre few minutes?
He described himself as delighted with the result, but he was furious with the way we defended after we'd scored. And those last 3 minutes when Fulham sort of came on and desperately trying to get the equaliser, which resulted obviously in the penalty. He thought we dominated the last 20 minutes, but we didn't cross the ball well. We didn't give Haller an awful lot of service, although he thought Haller was better with his link-up play. We need better crossing. We need better delivery. For the goal, he was honest enough to say that he wasn't convinced that that wasn't offside himself. And he said, we've got a lot of bad rules at the moment. Things aren't working. And he said, the offside position is one that nobody seems to know what's going on with. So he can totally understand Scott Parker being furious at that, which was refreshingly honest. Can you imagine Klopp saying that? No, Klopp, he was onside. Yeah, it would have been, wouldn't it? The comment was on the fact that having played a lot of teams expected to sort of feature in the top half of the table, that it was important for West Ham to get a result against the team of supposedly lesser quality. And he made a good comment there. That he said, well, yeah, he said, we got the result. Let's hope that this isn't the flaky West Ham of old, referring to past habits of sort of beating Man United one week and losing to whoever's bottom of the league the next. So on the whole, delighted with the result. Honest enough to say that that was possibly the worst we've played for quite some time, but the result's important. We've got 14 days of international break now to recharge the batteries, those who aren't playing. Made no comment on the injury to Ogbonna. Right. And delighted for Benrahma for the assist, although he rightly pointed out that he nearly had two, one at either end. So, So yeah, all in all, much as we've been saying, not over happy with the performance, but we'll have the result.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you, Gnome, for keeping a track on the managers and Tom Kearney. Was it Kearney? I think it was who also spoke before the two managers came out about the penalty, etc. And we're just about done for tonight, actually, here. But before we do leave you tonight, I think we should go back to the forum for one final roundup. Rio has, as usual, been keeping one eye on the KUMB.com forum match thread all evening. It's been a little bit up and down, hasn't it, Rio, tonight? Some positivity at the start, a little bit of negativity in the middle, and no doubt everyone's a little bit happier, probably, not particularly happy, perhaps, but just glad, I guess, that we've got out of that with 3 points. What are people saying?
I think people are like buoyed by the comedy elements of the finale. You couldn't really script it better than that, I don't think. A lot of frustration coming through, but I think there's a couple of comments that really stand out for me. Ironing Board has got out of jail at the end there, but it was another performance where we stuck at it from start to the end. Benrahma come on and made a vital contribution. The football gods are with him too, as he gave away a really cheap penalty, which he thinks it wasn't a penalty. I can't agree with that. It's another encouraging sign, as picking up points in games like this will be the difference that can see us finish comfortably in the table and continue to progress. Career Hammers followed up with a slightly fortunate win, and we were a bit disjointed at times. Having said that, we created a few good chances and once again showed the battling spirit to get a late winner. Souček has been very quiet, and I even wondered if he was carrying an injury, but I'm glad he's back on the score sheet. He's such a great secret weapon for us. I thought Benrahma looked very good, really asking for the ball, trying to make things happen, and very calm for the assist. He's going to do well for us. Feel a bit sorry for Parker and Lookman. They probably did deserve a point, but then again, we deserved a point against Liverpool, Arsenal, etc. So I can live with it. It's a great confidence booster before the international break, ahead of both Manchester clubs, one behind Arsenal and 2 points behind Everton, only 5 off the top. So, yeah, I mean, really reflected in the forum that it was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde game. Emotions were swinging left, right and centre. But at the end of the day, we've stuck at it. We got the 3 points. It may not have been completely deserved, but in the past, we've been done up many a time like that ourselves.
Yeah.
So let's just embrace it for them now.
Here. Well said, Rio. Thank you, Rio, for all your input all night, as usual, and keeping an eye on the forum, as we said, which is sometimes never easy, especially when you're trying to moderate comments at the same time as I'm aware you have been tonight. So thank you. Pinky, your final thoughts, please, on what has been, it was a very nothing game. Looked like it was going to end up 0-0, and then anything could have happened at the end. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, I mean, what wasn't great stuff. I thought Fulham had worked us out to a certain extent. Said it several times that they were happy for us to feed Kufal, knowing that his end product was never going to be quite good enough. We didn't really have an alternative thought process, and that comes down to the restriction on who's available to the manager. So, we dug deep. We've got a result in the end. Probably fortunate to take 3 points, if we're being honest. But, read the paper on Monday morning. That's where we're going to be. And it's an important 3 points for the international break coming up. Sheffield United on the back of that. If we can get, take 3 points at that game, then you could say 9 games in, quarter of the season gone. That's looking reasonable at that point. So I'm not happy with how we played tonight, but you take the points when you can in this division. You really do. But it was a classic mishmash of a game whereby at times we were pouring players forward, but at other times we were defending abysmally.
You referred to it. Sorry, you referred to it at one point as kamikaze football.
Yeah, it was. At one stage, we were chucking so many forward that better teams would have punished us on the break. But my biggest concern all night was our defensive shape kind of fell apart a bit. tonight, and our discipline defensively in terms of very narrow banks, tight together to stop better teams. We didn't have the professionalism to do that against a perceived weaker team than Fulham. And the young lad there tonight who missed the penalty, we made him look like David Silva for most of the night, because we just gave him acres of space between our back five and our midfield four. So for me, poor performance, but we got 3 points. There you go.
And that is, of course, ultimately what counts. Pinky, thank you once again for all your input this evening. Been great stuff, as always. We shall see you again very soon. It just leaves me to come finally to Gnome for Gnome, your final thoughts on very, very strange game, really.
Yeah, very. There's not much to add actually to what Pinky and Rio have said, really. We didn't play well. It was unusual for us to have to play in that way because hitherto we've been playing on the counter, playing very well on the counter. Suddenly we're the Man City and they're the West Ham, and so it's something they'll need to work on because not everyone in this league is Man City, and we've got Sheffield United next. There will be teams that there'll be teams. There'll be West Broms. There'll be Burnleys. There'll be teams who will similarly be looking to scrap for points rather than trying to tear us apart. And this is something that, and it is new because it's the first time this season. So to get 3 points out of that, then obviously we'll have that all day. We've played better and lost this season on at least 2 occasions. So, well, there you go. Them's the breaks. Sorry, Fulham. You didn't get a rub of the green today. I sympathise with that offside decision. It's a question of opinion. Was Haller there? He did jump, so I'd argue that he's making an attempt to play the ball, even though he was yards and yards away from it. If that had been given offside, I wouldn't have been surprised. I'd have been disappointed because it would have been a goal chalked off, obviously. But I wouldn't have been able to argue with that. And but given the crap we've had to put up with in the last night, we've got knows how many seasons. We'll get one of those a season, and the likes of Liverpool get them every week. So until we start getting better referees and better officials, then I'm just gonna have to take everything that comes our way. It's not right, but there you go.
And there it is. You may have had to wait till the last minute of the stream, but there's Gnome's little dig at the PGMOL. It's always there. It's
not right, is it? So, but
no, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But that is it, my friends. It's been a very strange evening. West Ham, as the guys have said, really not playing as well as we could have done, but we've escaped with all 3 points. It was a game that looked like it was going to end 0-0, and then it was a game that looked like it would end 1-0, and then it looked like a game that was going to end 1-1, and in the end it did end 1-0 to West Ham United. Very, very strange, very bizarre, but we've taken the points and we're all very, very happy with that, I guess. My thanks go to the team, Pinky, to Rio, to Gnome for their excellent company and superb analysis as always. My thanks go to everybody who's joined us also on the live stream. We really appreciate your support on these broadcasts. We're getting into the swing of things now, so I hope you're enjoying them too. But we love engaging with you, so thank you for all your comments.
Much better anchor man than last week, anyway.
Well, I don't know about that. I thought that the last chap did a very good job in the circumstances, but it's nice to be back anyway. Thank you, Gnome. It's Sheffield United next for West Ham United. We've got 15 days off until then, so as Pinky said, we can go into that break on the back of a win, which is always good. And we'll take that. 11 points from 11 games could be a lot worse. We do have the slight worry about who's going to be playing at centre half when we go to Bramall Lane in a couple of weeks' time, because Ogbonna looks like he may be out, which could be Diop coming back into the team. And Well, who knows? We'll worry about that another day. For tonight,
We might
it's
see
all
Craig
good.
Dawson. You remember him?
Yes, of course. I even forgot we signed him. Sorry. My apologies to Mr. Dawson. Of course, we do have an extra defender we can call upon. So there you go. That is it for tonight. As I said, thank you to my team. Thank you to everyone for joining us. It's finished West Ham United 1, Fulham 0, and we have 3 points, and it's another win. Great stuff. That's it. We'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Come on, you Irons.